live. We're gonna do it live. Hello. There we go. I could hear myself complaining in the other video. All right. Welcome to Hollywoke Hot Take with Tony D and Little Joan, my dog, somewhere behind me. I'm too tired to pick her up. Oh, man. Brutal weekend, but one that was well worth it for me. So, welcome to the live stream where we do it live. Where we do it live, everybody. We're live. And before we get into movies and all the stuff we talk about, I like to talk a little bit about my weekend in the minutes leading up to 7 p.m. while we wait for everybody to get here. So this week, where was I this week? So I had most of the week off, and because I had a big weekend last weekend too, but this weekend was crazy. Saturday in particular. So Saturday I did the world famous Collingswood Book Fest in Collingswood, New Jersey from 10 to 4. And this year it was nuts. I mean, I think there were over 150 exhibitors. That's a lot. It went all the way down Haddon Ave, which is in the middle of town. And the weather couldn't have been more perfect. Just perfect weekend. Absolutely perfect weather-wise. And there also was a farmer's mart that happens every Saturday, so that was there too. So people came out. Man, it was busy all effing day. I could have stayed there another 3 hours, quite frankly. And then after that, I crazily enough got into my car after packing everything up. Now, initially, when I got there in the morning, I got there late because I have a bad habit of sometimes not reading my emails. Because I do so many of these, they kind of blur together. And I forgot that Collingswood is very specific. Like, you have to get there by a certain time. But in previous years, I have stood in line and somebody with a clipboard tells me go over there. Well, this year, I got there too late for that. I actually stopped for a sandwich. I don't know what I was thinking. So when I got there, everybody's setting up and I can't drive my car down Haddon Ave. So I'm freaking out. I eventually had to park and run up there, and I luckily found an organizer who found my spot, and thankfully it wasn't too bad. I was able to get there. But then at the end of the day, I had to pack it all up. At the end of the day, I packed up like a boss. Like, the thing was over at 4. I think I was in the car by 4:15. Packed. Done. Shout out to my girlfriend for helping me. I need somebody to guard this space. Why I did most of it, but she guarded this space while I got the car. And then packed up, and I went home, let Joan out so she could go pee. I'd already gotten some food. Again, shout out to the girlfriend. I said, here, go get me some hot dogs and get whatever you want. So she for some reason, she was in the mood for kielbasa. She got a kielbasa, and this is very typical with her. She has a craving for something, but she grazes. So she just takes a bite out of it and then goes, here, you eat it. So I had most of a kielbasa, and then I had 2 hot dogs at the show. But I get home, let Joan out, and then luckily enough, Amazon had delivered 50 more copies of the Pineys book number 1, which I was out of. So then I booked it down to Hamilton. They were completely ready to go. They were already selling stuff. I thought, oh man, did I show up late to this thing? It turns out they just opened early. So I scrambled, got set up. I thought, oh man, I must have missed the sales. Nope, it was gangbusters, man. So I had 2 unbelievably gangbuster shows. The only downside was the street is pretty well lit, and it was from 6 to 10. And it got dark, but it got dark in my spot particularly because there was a tree shading me from the street light. Otherwise, it would have been fine. So I had to use my phone to light everything. But still, I was selling. I had to shove the money in my pockets because I didn't have time to write everything down. I had so many people at my table. So kudos to the organizers of both The Collingswood Book Festival, always great. And Halloween, which is Halloween in Hamilton, and they were just great too. Unbelievable. Don is the guy who organized that. Halloween, and Linda, I believe, is the organizer for Collingswood Book Fest. Although they have a big staff in Collingswood Book Fest. And then today I did Zed's Beer in Marlton. Unfortunately, I don't know why I did this. I scheduled this on a Sunday against the Eagles game. I don't know anything about football, as you know. Didn't realize there'd be a game today. I should have, I guess. I don't know. I thought, like, sometimes the game is late. I don't know when games happen. So everybody was home for the game. So we rescheduled another one. I hung out, but it didn't matter. I didn't even care. Because I did so well on Saturday. Like, I was dragging. I was dragging all day today. I banged up my leg. Oh, man. Setting up for Collingswood Book Fest. Because I was late, I was rushing, and I just banged the hell out of my leg. I don't remember how, but it's painful. But it was a good weekend. I sold a lot of books. I got to order more books. It's October, people. I'm going nuts. I have to order more postcards. I don't know if you guys, for those of you who aren't local, I hand out a postcard with my info on it. And it's got the Pineys book number 1 cover on it, and some information, the rundown of the Jersey Devil legend on the back in the book. So, I'm running out of those too, so I just ordered some more of them. And so things are good. I hope I'm in the pipeline to get book 19 out on time. It's going to be a little tight. I have to be honest with you. It's going to be a little tight. I'm going to start doing the final edits tomorrow because I don't know when I'm going to get to do that. I mean, I have to start getting it done. I have to be ready. The moment the cover is done, I have to be ready to slap that thing out there. But yeah, that's what's going on with me. It's 7:03, and it's time for the live stream, where we do it live. All right, let's I don't know where everybody is. I put out a thing. Maybe I should put out another thing. Here. Doing it live right now. I won't even put an exclamation point because I'm so tired. So it's a weird box office, a very strange box office again. And I'll tell you how strange it was. I looked at it last night, and I guess it was just from Friday. I'm not sure what it was. But The Smashing Machine was number 1. And the box office was only at 24 million. I guess not all the receipts had come in. But I was like, where the hell are the other movies? Did they pull them from the theaters? One battle after another. Still up there. All right. But the big news, of course, is Taylor Swift. This time only sort of saving the movies again. Last time, I believe her movie made $100 million in a weekend. I believe. I think so. Let's see. Swifty. Taylor Swift. JEC is here. Hi, hi, hi. Welcome, JEC. Trying to remember how much money Taylor Swift made in the movies last time she had a movie come out. I don't know what this movie is. Okay, it was the Eras Tour. It was the Eras Tour. And the opening weekend is not here. Oh, wait, here it is. 93 million. 93 million. And that was just domestic. So that was probably over 100 million. This time, Swiftie only did 33 million. And worldwide, only another 13 million. So that's only 46 million. So the law of diminishing returns has struck little Swifty. That's what I call her, Swifty. I know that's inappropriate. Not inappropriate, but wrong. But I don't care. I don't like Taylor Swift. I think her music is dumb. That being said, she's okay looking. She's not great looking, but she's okay. I don't know why people rave about her looks. I mean, she's okay. I mean, she doesn't seem to have a lot of natural beauty, but what little she has, she gussies up and looks decent. I can't say I wouldn't say she looks ugly, right? But I think she's way overrated. I saw a girl at Halloween. Holy cats. I couldn't believe it. She was stunning. She was absolutely stunning. I mean, she was young. She wasn't a kid, but I just thought, wow, what are you doing in Hamilton? I didn't say that to her. I don't have any reason to talk to her. Way too young for me, but she was very cute. With like a lot of natural beauty. Taylor Swift just, she's all right. But she, what little resources she has in that area, she looks good. Good enough, I guess. But yeah, you couldn't pay me to go see this. It's phew. And it's called the official release party. So I guess it's probably interviews and music and concert footage. JC, she's pushing 40 now. Youth is a big factor in attraction. That's true, but I mean, even when she was younger, I thought, I mean, she doesn't look that much different to me. She looks about the same. She's always kind of had a flat ass. Again, not that that's a, total deal killer or anything, but she's not, her face is just not that good. Something about her face, it's just not there. But she has nice long hair, and so she has nice makeup, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. You can't sustain the movie industry on Swiftie here. You just can't. That she's had 2 movies that were number 1 just shows you how movies are done. They're just so done right now until someone makes a halfway decent film. And then number 2 is one battle after another, only dropping by 49%. So this has a little bit of legs, which is sad, quite frankly, considering that it's full of commie BS, apparently, from what I've read about it. And I've seen some reviews about it, and man, it does not. Where are the good reviews on this movie? And they are pushing. I tell you where the good reviews are, probably, I guess, in Variety, because Variety and all the trades are like pushing this movie. Oh, it's going to get Oscar after Oscar after Oscar. Could it get more Oscars than nominations than any other movie in history? That was actually a line from one of the articles I read. And I just thought, are you kidding me? I mean, it only did 22 million last week. And this week it did 11 million. Swiftie still did that amount in 1 week. So there are more Taylor Swift fans going to see her dreck than there are seeing this movie. I mean, I think it could have worked if it was meant to be a comedy, but I don't think it is. I think it's meant to be like a kind of a semi-serious satire about a world in which we live in. But really, I think it's a world in which only Hollywood lives in. And their imaginary politics, which are becoming more and more imaginary every day. And some of the downstreams effects of that are the people in Portland, which I was watching right before this. the footage coming out of Portland, well, on the one hand, it's very satisfying to see that they're finally arresting these people after years of Antifa communists attacking federal buildings in Portland, Oregon, and nothing being done, or very little. Like, they get arrested, but they get a slap on the wrist and get sent right back out to do it again. Finally, the feds have arrived. And to see that, it's like the first step in returning sanity back to a place that has very little. JEC, I think Taylor is overexposed since the football stuff. Normies don't want her shoved down their throats. Yeah, point taken. Yeah. I think it was dumb to push Taylor on football fans. The NFL, you want to talk about an organization that is now deciding to go woke and doubling and triple down. It is the NFL. I mean, nothing is more insane than they had I believe it was male or trans cheerleaders, I forget. The Vikings had them. And I just thought, now you're going to start doing that? Are you insane? So, it's just dumb. We were watching the game at Zed's Beer, just watching the Eagles. I didn't see anything going on. That just looked like a normal game to me. But, yeah, the stuff going on with the NFL, I just think to myself, can you think of an audience that's more male than the NFL? Like, yeah, there are women who watch football. My girlfriend's one of them. She watched the whole game. Well, she decided to take a nap when the Eagles were winning and woke up. Oh, no! JEC, as much influence as Taylor has, she doesn't have enough clout to make women fans of football at the same level. You'll chase male fans away. Exactly. And it's not that you should chase female fans away, but it's clearly mostly for men. And I think one of the reasons some women do like football is that it is very male, and that they don't tune in for a bunch of girly stuff in the NFL. They specifically tune in for a bunch of manly stuff in the NFL. It's the same thing with James Bond. Which is, we'll segue right into that. Amazon, of course, for some insane reason, they can deliver a package like nobody's business. But when it comes to making movies, I just wonder, has Jeff Bezos ever seen a movie? Has he actually ever seen James Bond? Has he hired people from other planets to make movies here? Because it's the only thing I can think of. Looking at, and I watched it, Rings of Power, for instance. The spin-off series based on Tolkien lore. It was actually based on an index that Amazon licensed, and it's just god awful. And now they acquired all of James Bond, like the entire catalog, and they're about to show, I guess, all the James Bond movies again. And they have I guess they're movie posters or publicity stills from the various movies, and it's Sean Connery, Roger Moore, Pierce Bronson, George Lazenby, all in their iconic looks. Most of them are holding a gun, the Walter PPK, the famous Walter PPK that James Bond holds. Well, those brilliant minds, woke minds, I guess, at Amazon decided, let's Photoshop the gun out. Yeah, we wouldn't want anybody to associate guns with James Bond. That would be a disaster. What are you thinking? What woke idiot is running the show? in their entertainment division over in Amazon. Are you honestly thinking to yourself, that would be a good idea? Yeah, we're gonna airbrush the gun out. People are already, and Doomcock over at his channel, DVD Pro, said people were already nervous about Amazon taking over James Bond, right? They're already nervous because of what they did in the Rings of Power, what they did to Reacher. Reacher's starting to be woker and woker. I'm basically out of it. But James Bond is a perfect opportunity for, Amazon just to dive headfirst in it, bring back Bond the way he's supposed to be, and not apologize for a damn thing. And if anybody says boo, you just say, oh, it's James Bond. James Bond. Everybody knows James Bond, what he does. He womanizes, he drinks, he smokes. James Bond. Like, you couldn't just leave that alone. No, we're going to try to downplay the gun in James Bond. James Bond, his whole deal is he has a gun and he kills people with the gun. Usually. He's got a gun. He's got a gun and a martini. That's it. And a license to kill. His whole deal is he has a gun. Yeah, we're going to downplay the gun. Yeah, maybe we should downplay that he's British while you're at it. Unreal. Everybody connected with that decision should be immediately fired. That's what should happen. If the entertainment division had any sense, they would call in every person involved with that decision and fire them. Fire them immediately. Get out, clean your desk. And let that be a message to the rest of the employees in that division that stupid decisions will not be tolerated. That their stupid politics and their stupid ideas won't be tolerated. And whenever they have a thought in their head, I have a creative idea, but I'm not a creative, but maybe they'll like this. They'll go, oh, wait a minute. They fired a bunch of people who did that. You know what? I'll just keep that idea to myself and keep my job. That's what would happen. And then we wouldn't have to suffer these people. There are just some people that aren't creative. They're just not creative. Or they're creative, but they are like, I'm a creative, but I've been doing it for a long time. And I once explained this to a guy who was not untalented, creative in his own way, but he was new to, at this point, creating comics. And I said, listen, I've been creating comics for at that point, I was doing it for at least 20 years. And I said, you've been creating comics for about, at that point, I guess he was doing it for about 5. I said, you're like in 5th grade. I graduated high school. That's the comparison. It's not that your ideas are bad or that you won't have a hit, but you have to make a bunch of mistakes to get where I am. And you're still making those mistakes. And that's the way creativity works. You make a bunch of mistakes. So to have idiots who have never done a damn creative thing in their life, usually people with MBAs, who are executives, who have no business dropping in their 2 cents creatively, it's a disaster every effing time. Because all they have is power. They don't have creative chops to even be able to explain their idea. And then when you call them out on their idea, and this has happened before, and this is more at a corporate level or even a client level, you say, no, that's not going to work. Here are the reasons. They'll defend their effing idea because they feel like they're personally attacked. Because again, they haven't been doing creative stuff long enough to disconnect or keep a buffer between their creative work and their personality. So they see it as a personal attack when you go, well, getting rid of photoshopping the gun out of James Bond will really piss off the fans. I think that's a bad idea. No, they have to defend that. No, here's why it's a good idea. Even though they don't know what they're doing. Even though it flies in the face of everything, they'll defend it because it's not that they're defending the idea. They're defending themselves and how they're been personally attacked in a conference room or whatever. It drives me nuts. Nuts. Anyhow, that was a tangent. But swinging back to what we were talking about, one battle after another. I don't think it's going to... I mean, I think it might be nominated for a bunch of Oscars. But then again, who cares? Who cares about the Oscars anymore? Not me. What little interest I had in the Oscars died a long time ago. Even if they started making really good films and giving them Oscars now, I don't think I'd care. They would have to do that for like 10, 20 years before I'd finally go, okay, the Oscars are back. I think it's a really good metric now again for a film. No. When they give an Oscar to something, it is meaningless now, in my opinion. So yeah, give it a giant pile of Oscars. Not like it's going to get people to go see the damn thing. You started at 22 million. You're at 11. This movie, I don't think it makes its money back. Let's see. All right, it's at 101 million. It cost 140 million. But as we all know, that really means it needs to make 280 million just to break even on the budget, and that doesn't even count the advertising, which was pretty steep in this case. They've been advertising this movie for a while, a lot. So, advertising-wise, I would say at minimum this thing has to do 350. 350, minimum. At least 300 million. There's no way it's going to make that. There is no way this thing cracks 300 million. This thing, it might crack 150. Yeah, it'll probably crack that. Next week, it'll do another 5 domestic, probably another 6, 7 international. So, week after that, so you got 12, 6, 3, 1, done. So you're looking at maybe another 20 million. Add up the money during the week, might be another 20. So yeah, you might get to 140. Maybe if you're really lucky and the wind's behind you, you might get to 150. That's not enough. It's not enough. That movie's a flop. And you can give it 100 million Oscars. Won't matter. No one's going to see it. No one's going to see movies. That's part of the problem. No one's going to see movies. All right. And we've talked about that, so I won't rehash that. Number 3 is A Smashing Machine, premiering at 6 million. Quite frankly, I thought this movie would do much better. But this shows you, again, you know, who would go see this? Well, it'd be aimed at the wrestling fans. There's a lot of them. Fans of The Rock. Where are they? 6 million? What is that? Maybe 500,000 people saw it when you break down the money? Because you got to figure 6 million, that's not a million customers. That's 500,000 customers at best. At best. I mean, really, movies are like $14 here. I don't know what it is near you. So, what did it cost? I got to think this thing costs 40, 50 million at least. And at 6 million, it's done. It's done. It could have all the legs in the world. Oops. It could have all the legs in the world. This thing could drop only 10% next week. Ain't going to matter. This thing is cooked. Next week, 3, then 1, and then done. It's in 3,345 theaters, and it only did 6 million. That is bad. For a movie that premiered with a supposed A-lister like The Rock, he's done as an A-lister. This is another movie they're saying, oh, it's Oscars. Yeah, gonna give him an Oscar. Okay, give The Rock an Oscar. I don't care. I don't think his acting is great, but it's probably pretty decent in The Smashing Machine. But that is a total wait for streaming movie. 100%. And most of the wrestling fans are just going to wait for streaming anyway. I would think, if they're going to see it at all. Again, you did this to yourselves, Hollywood. Meanwhile, dropping from 2 to 4, Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie, did $5.2 million, dropping 62%. So that is no bueno for that movie. But again, you know, this is another toy movie, another girl movie. Okay, is that where movies are going? It's going to be for girls and people who have nothing to do with their kids. So, we'll just drag them outside, go to a movie theater. Then there'll be the movie theater's problem for 2 hours. Yeah, that's not really the way movies should be headed. I don't know what you could do at this point. I mean, it's a fundamental way the movies operate and how much they cost and the whole experience. But the movies themselves aren't helping at all. I mean, even if you have a good movie in this mix, you know, it has to bring so much to the table just to drag people into the theater. So it's at 5.2 million. One of the movies that sort of did that was The Conjuring, dropping from 4 to 5. It's been hanging in there. It seems to have pretty good legs. I mean, that's pretty good for its 5th week these days, 4 million. And this Demon Slayer, Kinemitsu no Yaiba, the movie, Infinity Castle, blah, blah, blah. That's number 6, dropping from 3.5 million. So we had, what did we have? 2 weeks in a row where it was number 1. That was strange. It did well, I would say. But now it looks like it's dropping a little faster. But I don't think it's doing well because the movie has brought in a ton of people. I think it's just doing well because there's no other audience for movies left. The normies just aren't coming. Avatar, The Way of the Water. That's the second one. Who knows? For some reason it did $3 million. I don't know. Is it? I guess. I don't know why people see this movie at all, but you do you, normies. Speaking of normies, man, Sargon of Akkad, I think, may have lost his mind. He has gone off on a rant. I believe I have it here. I was watching some of it earlier. Yeah, he did a rant called "I Despise the Bourgeoisie." It starts off with the rant, which he clipped in another video, which I watched, and then this is the full-length one, which I started watching. But it's actually so crazy, I don't know if I could watch the rest of it. But it's just Carl going off on, like, normies. People I see as normies, middle-class people. Which he includes himself in, which is weird. So, but yeah, it seems like, I guess, the normies are going to see Avatar. Maybe? I don't know. I don't know a single person going to see these movies. Back in the day, used to talk about movies all day long. Now, I mean, I went to Halloween last night, and I don't think a single person there goes to movies anymore. It's like, it was almost like I was back in the 80s for a moment where people went out and did stuff. And, but even back then, we went to the movies a lot. That was one of the things we did. It was very odd. It's like people just sort of gave up on movies and said, yeah, that's not a thing anymore. F that. It's just not worth it. You know, you could stream this stuff at home. So, number 8, dropping from 5, The Strangers, Chapter 2. I'm glad this movie seems to be tanking. 2.8 million, although it's probably cheap as hell to make. $11 million. Nah. It made for 8.5 million. This will probably break even. But I hope it's the last one they make. Just another awful looking slasher movie to me. Pass. Hard pass. And number 9 is a movie that looks actually interesting. That I do kind of want to see. Good Boy. So this is the movie. It's a horror movie, but it's from the point of view of a dog. And it looks really cool. It's about the dog, you know, fighting the supernatural forces to save his master. And I don't know if his human owner even knows the supernatural forces are there. So, here's the synopsis. Our canine hero, Indy, and that's the dog's actual name, and that's the filmmaker's dog, finds himself in a new adventure with his human owner and best friend Todd, leaving the city for a long vacant family home in the country. From the start, two things are abundantly clear. Indy is wary of the creepy old house, and his affection for Todd is unwavering. After moving in, Indy is immediately vexed by empty corners, tracks, and invisible presence only he can see. Perceives phantasmagoric warnings from a long-dead dog. Oh, that's cool. And is haunted by visions of the previous occupant's grim death. When Todd begins succumbing to the dark forces swirling around the house, Indy must battle the malevolence intent on dragging his beloved Todd into the afterlife. Oh, man, that just sounds great. Why isn't this movie doing $100 million? That's cool as hell. See, this is the kind of movie I would like to push. It's different. It sounds cool. But it's only in 1,650 theaters. I mean, I understand why Taylor Swift's in 3,700 theaters. But Gabby's Dollhouse? Can you not remove some of those? Because some of them are obviously double screens. Are you really got that many people trying to see Gabby Dollhouse at this point? But oh well. It looks good. I'll definitely catch it on streaming. But again, I'm part of the problem, right? Because I'm not going to the movies to see it. It's on IFC. So if you have the IFC channel, you'll probably see it for nothing. Number 10 is The Long Walk. And let's confirm if this movie is 1.7 million. This is a flop, yes? Cost 20 million, made 40 million. So that's a break even for the production, but probably not for the advertising. Again, they did a lot. So that is still a flop, I would say, and probably not going to make back its advertising. Downton Abbey, the grand finale, that's fine. It's even if this lost money, this has legs forever because it'll be on TV and they'll make money that way. And yeah, I mean, this probably it's difficult to tell what this movie actually cost because they because it's a TV show and they already had a lot of things lined up, it probably made the production a lot easier. Number 6, no, sorry, that dropping from 6 to 10, 11, 12 is Him, the sports horror movie. Again, kudos for trying to do something different. 27 million, it's at 25 million. It's not going to make enough, but let's read the synopsis. Cameron Cade is a rising star quarterback who has devoted his life and identity to football. On the eve of professional football's annual scouting combine, Cam is attacked by an unhinged fan and suffers a potentially career-ending brain trauma. Just when all seems lost, Cam receives a lifeline when his hero, Isaiah White, legendary 8-time championship quarterback and cultural megastar, offers to train Cam at Isaiah's isolated compound that he shares with his celebrity influencer wife, Elsie White. But as Cam's training accelerates, Isaiah's charisma begins to curdle into something darker, sending his protege down a disorienting rabbit hole that may cost him more than he ever bargained for. Still not quite sure. I assume he's like the devil and offers him like, fame for his soul or whatever. But yeah, that movie's basically done. Bone Lake, 828,000. This is premiering. I think I knew. Did I see the trailer for this? A couple's romantic vacation at a secluded lakeside estate is upended when they are forced to share a mansion with a mysterious and attractive couple. The dream getaway spirals into a nightmarish maze of sex, lies, and manipulation, bringing terrifying secrets to light and triggering a bloody battle for survival. Sounds super familiar, but doesn't look like it's going to do much. Do we have a budget? No. But I bet it costs more than $1 million, so probably not going to make its money. Next up is Casper. Casper? Back in theaters. $750K. Perfect Blue, also back in theaters. $711K. That Daniel Lewis movie, directed by his son, I'm going to say this wrong, Anemone. It's only in 865 theaters, but still you would have thought there's a little buzz about this. Seems like the acting carried this movie through. So probably, if you like dramas, probably worth seeing to some extent. Would I see it? I don't know. Eleanor the Great, which is that old lady movie directed by, what's her face? Scarlett Johansson. $271,000 in its second week, dropping 70%. Ouch. That's done. That is. Stick a fork in that. Got a budget on this? Nope. When they don't have the budget, that's usually an indicator they know they lost money. There's no way that movie costs less than, I would say, $20 million. The Bad Guys 2 still hanging around in theaters, $155K. Dead of Winter, $139K. In its second week, dropping 87%. Oof. Oofa. This actually looked okay-ish. It's Emma Thompson trying to save this woman who's trapped in a basement, but her foil is Judy Greer. So it sounds like the kind of movie that normally would have been cast with two men, where a man is holding a woman hostage in his basement and the other man tries to save her. In this case, it's a woman trying to save another woman from the basement, and Judy Greer is like the main antagonist. So again, I don't think it's as effective with female leads in those roles. Weapons still hanging around in a ninth week for 135K. The Senior, Angel Studios, 134K. A big, bold, beautiful journey, 120K in its third week. Wow, that is no bueno. That's a third week. Dropped 89%. It's in 609 theaters. Pooh, this movie stinks on ice. 18 million at a cost 45. That's done. That's not even going to come close to making its budget back. Oof. Margot Robbie. No. At this rate, she'll be back to playing Harley Quinn in no time. Holy F. That movie is effing cooked. Well, I called that one. Come on. That's a terrible premise. Two strangers find a magical door in the woods, and then they go through it and relive parts of their lives. It's like, why even bother to do that? Why not just have them be friends? Why not just have them be friends and remember stuff? Why have a magical door? How does that make it better? How does it make it better? Oh, the magical door. Where's the magical door from? Oh, we don't know. We just made it up. Oh, big, beautiful bullshit. That's what it is, in my opinion. Freakier Friday, still hanging on. 92K. The Fantastic Four First Steps in its 11th week. Give it up, Disney. 75K. Just give it up. It's done. See, those are screens. It's in 130 screens. There's 130 screens you can show Good Boy on. JC, if they're smart, they'll recast Harley. She's cooked. JC, it's whimsical, Tony. No, stupid. Yeah, unless they recast Harley as an overweight black woman, I don't know. These days, DC is woker than woke. DC, again, it seems to me, does everything that Marvel does 5 years after it's popular. I've said this a million times. So in recent days, I've noticed more and more headlines about Disney going woke. James Gunn, he is off the rails. I'm done. I'm done with the DCU. I was willing to give it a chance. Superman was okay-ish, but I am done. I am so done. I was pretty much done with the Supergirl movie, which looks like it's going to be bad. I'd rather go watch Minecraft again. At least that movie was fun. At least that movie had some fun characters in it. I don't even play Minecraft. God. Light of the World, 35K. The Roses. There's another 125 screens you can play Good Boys on. Or Good Boy. Orwell, 2 + 2 = 5. So it's some kind of documentary about Orwell. It's getting good reviews, I guess. It's cool. Just, look outside and check it. Check your local media for if you want a reminder of where Orwell's stuff stands. Hamilton, still in 45 theaters. Waste of screens. Give it to Good Boy. Toy Story, still in theaters for its, I assume, second run. Wildfire, The Legend of the Cherokee Ghost Horse. That is too long, but I assume it is a documentary. It's on 3 screens, and looks like they brought it back. Peacock. I saw the trailer for this. I just did a thing on it. It looks interesting. It's a German comedy. So the premise of Peacock Is there a guy? He's like a professional friend, and it's not doing well though. JC, do we need another Orwell documentary? There's like a dozen on YouTube already for free. That is true. I don't know. Maybe there's some new insight. So this guy is like a professional companion, but for each client he has to change his personality and his whole deal, and he has an existential crisis about his own identity. So I was saying when I was talking about this trailer, there aren't many universal themes that translate overseas. The three movies that translate overseas are horror, action, and TNA. But I would add existential crisis. I think that does translate. So it doesn't look bad. It looks kind of amusing. And it's German, so I might want to see it just to see how the Germans do a comedy. You can make your own joke about bad guys from Germany. And finally, of course, Cat Video Fest 2025, which for some reason is still on 2 screens in its 10th week. It's made, I want to see what this movie made, $1.2 million. $1.2 million for cat videos. That seems like way too much. It seems like this movie should have cost, 10 cents to make. Or maybe, 50 cents for the stamp to mail the flash drive to the movie theaters. Oh, man. That is the week, or the weekend, I should say, in movies, 79 million. And half of that is Swiftie. JC, they're probably going to twist it like that Orwell actually promoting socialism and was warning against the terrors of capitalism. Very Orwellian. Well, that would be the ultimate. I could see him doing that. But fortunately, nobody's really watching movies, so I don't think anybody's going to see the damn thing. A lot of this stuff, there's a big pushback this week on Netflix for the weird grooming stuff they seem to have been making on their channel. Kids videos or kids TV shows that involve promoting like transgenderism and a bunch of other nonsense they shouldn't even be exposed to. And most of this stuff happened over a year ago. I remember talking about it then. But suddenly there's a new push to end Netflix, mostly because I think Elon Musk is making noise about opening a competing Netflix of some kind, which would be very interesting. That would be a platform I could maybe get behind. We'll see. So, yeah, I would love to see a platform like Netflix that would do regular movies, some based movies, and, just basically be an alternative to much of this sort of blah entertainment we've been getting lately. I mean, nothing seems to be good. But a lot of this was in the pipeline 2 or 3 years ago. And so a lot of these people apparently are under the impression that Kamala would have won. JC, I think Elon's ability to influence other companies' stock performance is done since he pissed everyone else off with his politics. Oh, I don't know. He's really... Netflix lost $15 billion worth of value with his little Twitter war against them. He started a whole trend of canceling Netflix. I mean, he brought it all back, and he's been promoting X. So, JC, knowing Elon, it will all be AI Drek. Well, AI isn't too bad when you look at it as a novelty, right? So as a novelty, I wouldn't mind. Oh, I just found some doggy poop bags. I really need these. I was wondering. I thought I had another roll of them. Um, JC, it lost like 3% of value. It's all spin. Well, we'll see if it comes back. I mean, if it doesn't come back, it's still $15 billion of value. It's still something. You know, 3%. If it takes, or it could take them all year to get back to where they were. Who knows? But it's not like Netflix is standing on a very strong platform of, hey, we got a great library of stuff. What does Netflix have? What does Netflix have that's worth a damn, in my opinion? Most of their original programming didn't work out. I mean, I liked Altered Carbon, but I'm like the only one. That was that Anthony Mackie was the first or second season. But the idea of the show was cool. You get to change the lead actor every season. I thought that would be cool, but I was like one of the few. JC, I think it'll be good streamlining special effects to cut costs way down. I get headaches watching AI clips longer than 20 seconds. It's creepy looking. Yeah, I mean, it has to be. Like, I just watched one. Somebody made a music video where the Democrats are all dressed in sombreros and singing mariachi music, and they're in taco trucks, and there are a million cuts. It's Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer and AOC, and they're, you know, it's a big parody. And for that, it works fine. But it's gotten better. I mean, I saw one of those a couple of weeks ago. I guess it wasn't one of those, but I saw a similar AI. It wasn't nearly as sophisticated. JC, I read the book for Altered Carbon. Interesting concept. Yeah. Yeah, I thought the show had potential. I mean, I didn't think the season with Anthony Mackie was particularly bad. It wasn't great, but I thought, hey, I'm in for another season of this, but yeah, I mean, the AI slop is what it is. But the problem with the AI slop is the AI can't keep the same faces. So, like, I was trying to make a little AI thing of Bill Riley punching his computer screen or screaming so I could put, "We'll do it live," you know, like a different version of that. And I couldn't quite get the AI to understand what I wanted. So it made Bill O'Reilly just being mad, shaking his fist at the screen, and then he said a bunch of nonsense that sounded like Bill Riley, but the words didn't make any sense. But that was just on Grok 4.0, I think it is. And that was just for a 6-second thing. Now they have clips. All the clips now at the top end are going up to 3 minutes. So the AI videos of the trailers, like when they do, hey, you want to see Game of Thrones in the 70s? And then they replace all the actors with famous actors from the 70s. Like, now you can do that all in one string, as opposed to before you had to do it in like 5-second clips. JC, no, their faces will morph into a different person mid-shot. No, not the newer ones I've seen. Don't do that. But each cut is a different video, and then the faces are a tad bit different. But the faces have done less morphing, I'll say, at least. So, and the one I made today to advertise the stream, that's, you know, it was a 6-second clip. It was okay. I still can't get the Grok to put me in the picture or in the little movie. JC, people put a lot of work into those fake trailers. Yeah, I'm sure they do. Probably takes forever to get, you know, the look just the way you want. And they probably use multiple sources of stuff. Like, I've seen there's another GIF going around. It's the movie Amadeus, and it's Trump as the Tom Hulce character who played Mozart, and then it's Hakeem Jeffries in a sombrero as Salieri, and they also changed up the dialogue, and it sounds like Trump. So, JC, there's not enough footage of you for Grok to pull from. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out that portion of it. But it's getting there. My point is it is improving, and so I think in probably within 3 years, I'll say the novelty will be, hey, show me a movie starring, and you could pick a celebrity, whatever celebrity you want that the AI has access to, but eventually they'll be all licensed. But initially it'll be like, give me Star Wars where Christopher Walken is Han Solo, and then it'll look and sound mostly like Christopher Walken, and then you could add other things. JC, people who use it are getting clever working around its limitation. You can do some interesting stuff with it. Yeah. Eventually the computers will catch up to that and be able to just do it by request, is my point. And then you'll be able to do that stuff just for fun. But it's not going to be a real movie. It's not going to be that entertaining that you'll really sit through it. I think mostly you'll say, oh, we'll watch Star Wars starring Christopher Walken, and instead of Ewoks you have Teletubbies or whatever you put in there. And then everybody's going to try to get dirty with it, because that's what everybody does, right? They're all going to try to say, hey, let's have Princess Leia's naked throughout the whole movie. Stuff like that. But even if you have a sophisticated computer that can do all that, they can just make things instantly, eventually it just I think I'd burn out on it in an afternoon. JC, I think it's really dependent on how much input it has. Yeah. But, the more sophisticated it gets, allegedly it'll have so much input. Eventually I think they'll just have one AI, really. One big AI, which will have, the internet. I think eventually they'll have an AI that's so far-reaching and sophisticated, it will just scan the entire internet and have everything at its fingertips. But how it will process it will be based on your, commands. And now I've heard through a friend of mine who had some AI training that they are getting to the point where they want everything to be voice commands for the AI now. That's where they're going. Like, you won't type in anything anymore. You'll just do voice commands. JC, I think the AI guys are really overselling it, so they keep getting investments. It's already scanned the entire internet, LOL. No, but I mean that it'll actually have the internet at its fingertips. Like right now, some of them haven't scanned the entire internet. They've scanned parts of it, and they can't use parts of it, so they don't want the AI to scan certain parts of the internet, because they don't want the AI to use certain things. So, like, that's part of the Disney lawsuit and the Warner Brothers lawsuit against, I forget which AI company. So I don't know if Grok has. Let's see if Grok has. What can we ask Grok to make that it shouldn't be able to make? Let's see. Show me Bugs Bunny. He's still copywritten. fighting G.I. Joe. Oh, that's pretty close. Wow, G.I. Joe kind of looks like that guy from Germany on the right one. That's pretty close to Bugs. I mean, I don't know why they put him in overalls. I don't know why he has 2 arms. It's very strange. But yeah, you know, it'll be able to do something. I just don't think it'll make a whole lot of sense. I mean, he has 2 hands. Yeah. Well, let's say Grok. Let me go to Grok. It's different when you do it in a message. Let's see if I can do it in a message. Oh, yeah. We can generate the image. All right. That's... Hold on. That's Bill O'Reilly. There we go. That's the Bill O'Reilly video, still going. Let's see what happens when I make the... See, it just makes sounds. All right, let's say that. Let me see if the 2-handed Bugs fixes it. JC, does this foot have a rabbit's tail? Yeah, it kind of looks that way. Oh, see, it disappeared. The extra hand disappeared when it got animated. Yeah, it's pretty stupid. JC, that one Bill is turning into Jim Corrent. Looks like he's talking to a toy. Yeah. But again, it's still an improvement from before. Here, I'll just post this with no explanation. People will think I lost my mind. But it's still, you know, it's not going to make any sense, but it's still getting more sophisticated. I think the ultimate sort of idiocracy video would be like, JC, I guess it's a toy because it's G.I. Joe. Yeah. The ultimate sort of idiocracy video, and I think AI will be able to do this, because I wanted to do this for a Super Frat. So the characters in Super Frat, I wanted to have a storyline. We never got to do it, where the characters do their own comic, and I wanted to make it the stupidest, lowest common denominator comic of all time. And the premise of the comic was called Naked Kaboom. And so the whole comic was just going to be hot naked girls running around with bazookas blowing up buildings. And then we thought, like, JC, I read that one. And then we thought, like, it would be funny if, like, the comic became so popular, it somehow got optioned to a movie, and then we'd mention the movie. And then we'd actually somehow shoot part of it. Like, you wouldn't actually see the nudity per se, but the idea of Naked Kaboom, for a while, me and the guys on the comic, we kept making jokes about it because we thought that would be the ultimate and lowbrow humor if they made a movie or a TV show called Naked Kaboom, and it would just be hot girls with bazookas blowing up buildings, and you would just watch it for about a half hour and just be like, explosions and hot chicks naked. I think it could work, but that's just me. So I think AI could make my dream come true. I think AI could make that happen easily. I think we're almost there. In fact, Indie Phantom is here. Hey all, did someone say naked girls? Yes, I did. In fact, let me see if I can make a naked kaboom thing. Show me naked girls with bazookas blowing up buildings. Alright. Man, that's the friggin'... Why is it... Alright, Bill. Shut up. Alright, they won't let them be naked, obviously. But they made them pretty hot. Alright, let's try a video. JC, perfect concept for AI slop. Yeah. Yeah, the nudity hasn't... I don't know why they haven't unleashed the nudity yet. That's what I'm waiting for. Because that'll make it money. That's money in the bank. Alright, they're not blowing up anything and they're not naked. So we got a ways to go. Let me see if these girls blow up anything. They're just walking. And they don't really have bazookas. They're not bazookas. I don't know what kind of guns those are. Those are not real guns. It's just an army of women. Yeah, it's not what I wanted, Grok. I mean, the boobs are pretty good on that one on the right, I gotta say. Yeah, it's going to require way more input and work. JC, yes, that bottom left one is Jim Cornette. Indie Phantom, hot is good. JC, hard to get advertisement if you sexualize it. There's enough prawn on Twitter already. I don't know, I never see it. I guess I don't search that stuff. The algorithm has decided I don't get to see anything fun. Or maybe I put the filter on. I don't know. I think I got mad. There was some thought sending me a bunch of nonsense, and I got mad at Twitter. So maybe they finally got the message and blocked it. All right, let's check the trades. JC, like when you use a packing tube as a gun when you're a kid. Yeah, that's kind of what it's like. Indie Phantom, the box office is a disaster, by the way. JC, you just need to follow up some girls' pages. It'll pop up. I'm sure it will, I guess. I don't know. I don't want to follow those girls. I got a girlfriend. I don't need that nonsense in my life. All right, going to Phantom Pulse. Let's see what we got here. D&D and Magic the Gathering artist Todd Lockwood mocks Charlie Kirk and posts meme wishing death on Trump. Well, that's not nice. It's not nice at all. I don't know why he would do that. People are possessed by their politics, and they should not be. It's really, look, I really didn't like Biden. He made food unaffordable. And I love food. Anyone who knows me knows I love food. But I didn't wish death on the man. He's a politician. He's corrupt and stupid and useless, but I wouldn't wish death upon him. I really disliked Bush. I mean, Bush was a terrible president. I wouldn't wish death on him either. You don't wish death on people. That's a karmic equivalent of a huge loss, in my opinion. So, and people eventually get what they deserve, I believe. I don't believe in religion, but I do believe in karma. Indie Phantom. Oh yeah, Taylor Swift on top. She's half the box office. 79 million? And 33 million was for Swiftie. And the rest, who cares? The Smashing Machine is third. I mean, it's a disaster. It's an absolute disaster. Billy Piper and David Tennant pitched Doctor Who movie at LA Comic Con. I thought he was done with Doctor Who. Indie Phantom, box office cooked. Yep. Does anybody care about Doctor Who now? Doctor Who needs a hard reset. I mean, that character needs a hard reset. But that isn't going to happen. The UK government is very woke. Like, uber woke. It's so woke, I think it melted Carl Benjamin's brain. I really do. I'm really worried about Carl. His latest video is like, it's just no bueno. I mean, I don't know. I know he's under a lot of pressure. I know things in the UK are really bad. I feel bad for him, but some of the stuff he's saying now is really like, what are you talking about, Carl? Indie Phantom, Doctor Who? Yeah, and of all places, the LA Comic Con. Yeah, I guess some of the woke nerds that go to that wanted to have a Doctor Who return and have you return playing the role. I guess it's worth doing since you're an actor and you're basically trying to give the studio the impression that it would be worth doing. And honestly, if you put David Tennant back in the role, it would be worth doing. People would watch it. But I have no doubt it would still be super uber woke. Maybe they already made him gay or bi or whatever. So, Indie Phantom, what was Carl hinting at? He made this video, I despise the bourgeoisie. It's just nuts to me. JEC, yes, the Lotus Eaters are getting more and more extreme in their views, I've noticed. But this is like commie extreme, in my view. Now, he plays it off like he doesn't really mean it, like, and that he's partly kidding, but really he's like, and some of it is he's using, and he uses the term middle class. When he also he swaps middle class and bourgeoisie for the same thing in this video. And in the States, middle class I think means something different. What he's basically saying is he doesn't like people who are sheep, right? And that the normies in the UK just keep going along with the woke nonsense. LeMay is here. Oh, I saw this video. LeMay, let me have your opinion about the video. Now, I haven't finished watching it. I only got about 20 minutes in. Do you think Carl has driven off the reservation, so to speak? I'm a little worried about him. He's talking a lot of postmodernist stuff. He was quoting Marcuse. I just don't understand where his head's at. I mean, I know he's under a lot of pressure. Things are bad. But they're kind of turning around. Farage is going to get in. Indie Phantom. Haven't seen them lately. We'll check it out. So, like, I think he's mad at hipsters who, go along to get along kind of thing. The way he sort of maps it out felt a little extreme. Felt like he was casting a wide net for his judgment. And I'm just watching it going, huh? I don't know. LeMay, I think he got bitter. Yeah, I sense that too. Maybe it's that. I kind of can't blame him because things are really rough in the UK, it seems. But, in another video, he talks about how Farage will win and that how the Conservatives will eventually win. JC, I mean, they're English. They're monarchs. They want a strong man king, but Charles is a cuck. So they're yearning. Yes, but he doesn't have that much real power. But his son seems to be a lot more on the ball, William. And I don't think Charles is long for this world. I don't think he's going to last much longer. He already has cancer, I believe. So, people like Kate Middleton, and they like William, I think. So I think when he gets in, and I think he'll probably get in within the next 5 years or so, people will be very excited. And I don't think it'll be a huge change. I think it'll just be sort of an optics win. Indie Phantom. Well, UK did have that successful rally. Yeah. And Carl talked about that and seemed very optimistic in that video. You know, it was when he started saying, now I know we're going to win kind of attitude, which was good. And I think they will eventually win. But I also think, like, in politics, you're never going to win 100%. Like, I'm a libertarian. And libertarians, we never win. But the only way we can win is to sort of influence people to kind of come on our side. So the libertarians had a win with Trump in that some of his policies are very libertarian. They're not libertarian explicitly, but some of his policies lean very heavily into more personal freedom. Now, we didn't get everything Trump promised yet, but he's promised a lot of things, and we got some of it. So that's unfortunately the best record in a modern presidency for a long time. So you got to kind of take what you can get. But Carl has a more we need more. You know, he's got to kind of take what he can get from Farage and sort of keep pulling him in his direction, I think. LeMay, he is getting frustrated at normies who don't care about politics that much while complaining about crime. Yeah, and I can't blame him, but, you know, at the same time, I'm not sure what he expects. Because until his political party gets in there, or a political party gets in there that will actually do something, nothing will change. So I don't know how much organizing he's doing. I think he's done some. Tommy Robinson certainly's done quite a bit. And I think part of his reasoning is that he's there to help try to steer the culture. But that's not a small thing, man. That's going to take years. We have the same problem here. We got a lot of commies coming up. A lot. These teachers have messed up a lot of these kids. They're just going to be messed up. They're going to get out of school, and they're going to be messed up. And I don't just mean from the pandemic. I mean from Marxism. These kids, and you can just see videos on YouTube of people having that absolute meltdown. Of grown adults just melting down over nothing. Absolutely nothing. Screaming like maniacs. And I think that's a direct result of teaching a Marxism, because Marxism basically teaches you to protest when you don't get your way. And that's sort of the equivalent, right? Just scream until people go, okay, here, take it. Just stop screaming. LeMay, Carl tried to run before, but it fell apart from old video recordings and bad press. Yeah, what really did him in was that one quote that he made on YouTube, which was, "I wouldn't even grape you." And they hammered him with that. And to win in politics, you really have to be relentlessly sort of dogged, and for something like that, you're in the hole and you got to really push back hard on your opponent, and you have to go at them hammer and tongs to really win. I mean, I've seen local elections here in South Jersey. They will pull, they'll just lie. I've seen local elections, and I know people who have run for local office. Those elections are so small, people just outright lie, and good luck changing the optics on it in time, right? Because the elections are so small, people might hear the accusation, but they're not going to hear, you trying to push back on it. And by the time you would, the election's over anyway, and the person who smeared you is already in, and the people who run for local elections, they don't have a lot of money. So it's really, really tough in South Jersey, and I assume everywhere else, to run in these local elections unless you're kind of in the mix where you could have access to the right people and money and lawyers to push back hard, or you got to kind of strike first. And I don't think Carl did that. I think Carl got kneecapped by his own quote, and they just hammered him. And so I think if maybe he comes back and runs again, he'd have a chance if he goes at it slightly different. Part of it is that he did have down was he had a certain amount of ideological, this is a wrong word, but purity. He had a vision in mind for what he was running for, and he didn't back off of that, which is good. But once he got attacked, I don't think he attacked back as hard or as effectively as his opponent. But I think he was running against an incumbent anyway, so maybe he could try again. I'm not sure of the rules in England about that kind of stuff. And in terms of the Lotus Eaters, and if he could still even be involved with the Lotus Eaters if he actually got elected. So, but I think maybe in the future he could, or one of the Lotus Eaters could run. And then maybe they would get a sense of, the actual, there's an art to the compromise. And one of the guys who seems to be a master at it is Trump. Scott Adams was talking about it today. Indie Phantom. I watched the Ed Gein show. It certainly doesn't paint the T-tans? Or you meant trans community or women in a good light. Netflix taking heat all over the place. Was Ed Gein trans? I mean, I know what Ed Gein did. It's gross. Did they consider him trans? I guess he kind of was. He's definitely a messed up dude. But anyway, wrapping up with Carl. I'm worried about Carl. Hopefully his next video will be a little more, I don't know, sane. I feel like he got a little too much education when he went to get his degree. Yeah, I didn't know they were taking heat for the Ed Gein thing. It's weird. In order to take heat for Ed Gein, the trans community would have to first acknowledge that he's part of the trans community, wouldn't they? Why would you acknowledge that? Why wouldn't you say, no, he's mentally ill? He might think he's trans, but he's actually mentally ill. JEC, they're probably trying to claim him as trans. Well, they would have to in that scenario. Indie Phantom, RIP to Alyssa Milano's implants too. Is she in that? Is she in the Ed Gein thing? Let's see. Nope, that's the wrong one. Oh, what the hell is it called? Is it Monster? Yeah. JC, who? Ha ha ha. I can't believe Charlie Hunnam took this role. Javier Bardem is in it. Chloe Savary is in it. Molly Ringwald? There's a lot of names in this thing. I might have to watch it. I don't know. Ed Gein is like the one serial killer I never really found out his deal. Yeah, she's not in it. Indie Phantom. No, Milana just had surgery. Oh, okay. R.I.P. your rack, Alyssa Milana. That's sad. JC. Looks like Jamie Lee Curtis with the mask on. Okay, now I gotta look. Alyssa Milano. Indie Phantom, you are looking at the wrong season. Let's see. These all look like old pictures. Oh, wait. Here we go. Alyssa Milano says she's getting her breast implants removed. Is letting go of the body that was sexualized. Okay. I guess that's her boobies before. And that's also before. I don't know. She looks the same. I guess there's not an after picture yet. I'm looking in the wrong season of Monster. Oh, okay. Now I see what you mean. Laurie Metcalf? No, I still don't see her. Oh, right. She's not in this. Sorry, I had a brain fart there. Indie Phantom. New season has a lot of focus on Hollywood serial killers, cross-dressers, Texas Chainsaw, Psycho, Silence of the Lambs. JC. I mean, it's not good to have random objects in your body. I think you need to get them swapped out every 10 years or so. Yeah, I wouldn't push anybody to get cosmetic surgery. That would be... I mean, I'm not going to lie. I like the look of them. But, you know, if somebody said to me, do you think I should get breast implants? I'd be like, no. Indie Phantom. They made Hitchcock creepier than Gein. I think they're mad at Hitchcock because of, they want to try to kind of Me Too him for stuff he did back in the day. Exclusive Lair developer talks his Choose Your Own Adventure AI-powered RPG app. Ooh, that sounds interesting. An AI Choose Your Own Adventure where the AI could make stuff up. But then again, it can't make stuff up. But it would be kind of interesting. What else? Oh, this was a big push this week. LGBTQ stuff in the Netflix stuff. We talked a little bit about this earlier. Okay. So it was in Camp Cretaceous. Just sounds like a dumb show anyway. 5 Christian shows to share with your family. I don't know. I find them all boring. Shazam. Zachary Levi teams with Eric July for Rippaverse collection. There you go. Slightly good news, I guess. I think that's a way to go, but obviously I don't think Levi is going to elevate comics back to anywhere near where they were, but it might help a little. They tried to do that during the Valiant Comics days when Bob Layton was still around, and they didn't really have much success, I don't think. LeMay, someone made an interesting AI generated murder mystery game. Yeah, that sounds like it could work, at least at a certain level. Like you could get the AI to, sort of run the game, like not a complicated game, but a sort of murder mystery clue like game to keep you kind of guessing. So, you know, the AI could maybe make some moves during the course of the game that would throw you off. That sounds like it could work. But then it also sounds like the AI could get confused and just decide, oh, I didn't want you to figure it out, so I lied. JC, I don't think Levi has that big of a fan base. Yeah, I don't either, but maybe a little, maybe a couple of extra thousand fans come towards the Rippaverse and buy stuff. I think video games is where AI will have the most effect, honestly, JC. Yeah, I could see that. Because then, instead of having that, three choices of dialogue for, say, Fallout, or random dialogue with the NPCs in Grand Theft Auto, you could have little AIs basically in charge of the NPCs, and it would be more organic, I guess. Indie Phantom, forget Rippaverse. Got tired of Eric July. Don't hear about him much of late. AI lies a lot. Yes, that's a real problem. The problem with Rippaverse to me is the comics are just too expensive and they're not that great. Like the one that Chuck Dixon wrote that I reviewed was pretty good. But I still wouldn't buy it because it was like, I don't know, it was like $15 for a comic. I'm not paying $15 a comic. What are you, nuts? It has to be at least a graphic novel that's at least 100 pages, then maybe. So they need to create a Rippaverse. They need to get to the point where they could do like a heavy metal type magazine that would be affordable for fans to just buy on a whim just to read. Or, and online too. Indie Phantom, AI is cooking Hollywood in many ways, according to Clownfish. It is and it isn't. I mean, I think Hollywood is mostly cooking itself because there's just nothing there. The movies are so bad. They're still, James Gunn, and we'll get to those headlines, I think he's cooking the DCU now because he doesn't care. Indie Phantom, yeah, overpriced and small output. Daredevil Born Again writer provides new details about season 2, so this is still going. This might, because it had a really decent run initially, you might be able to pull this out of the muck in the MCU. You might be able to make this one thing work, but I don't know if they can. JC, I don't find Eric July that compelling, even when you're making fun of him. EVS content is all about logging Eric July, and I'm so bored with it. Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't follow EVS anymore. I said he's not Howard Stern, and even Howard Stern isn't Howard Stern anymore. So he dug his own metaphorical grave. And now he's just stuck doing what he does. I don't even know what he does anymore. I don't know who would want to listen to him after all the nonsense and drama I feel he's created. Indie Phantom, the volume tech becoming obsolete due to AI, so they are offering discounts. What's the volume tech? Yeah, some stuff is just, AI will be the kind of thing that'll just be good if you use it very limitedly. So, for instance, you could maybe train your AI, if it ran your sprinkler system, to kind of monitor the temperature and the dryness of the ground, and then use the sprinklers on certain times a day and all that good stuff, so it doesn't overwater things. You know, just boring stuff you don't want to do. Indie Phantom. Yeah, Eric July and EVS are off my radar now. Yeah, me for the most part. Although Eric just showed up again because they're doing this thing with Zachary Levi, and I don't know, he's trying to sell more books. I like Mike Barron did a book for him too, which I'd be mildly interested in reading just because it's Mike Barron, but again, the prices on these things, I don't find them hot collectibles. I don't see them becoming hot collectibles. The moment Eric stops publishing, forget it. This stuff is going to disappear. However, the Jersey Devil #1 is really tough to find. So that's a pretty hot collectible. I mean, hot-ish. Let's say. I think the Jersey Devil #1, the original one's up to like $120. And then #2, which is also, I don't have a lot of those, that usually hovers around $50 to $70. JEC, the guy who colored Isom 1 tried to do a book with Dean Cain. Oh, I think I remember hearing about that. Whatever happened to that? Did it ever come out? Indie Phantom, volume is where they project locations in a big 3D set. Disney Star Wars used it for everything. Huh. God, I'm so itchy. I think I got too much sun this weekend. Magic the Gathering players revolt against Wizards of the Coast latest LGBTQ nonsense. So there's more rainbow stuff. I don't know why they're doing this. I mean, Hasbro went woke apparently. I used to buy Magic cards all the time. Now I wouldn't give you 10 cents for it, even though they're doing all the stuff I said they should do, which was to license characters so they could put them in the Magic cards. But instead, they went way past Lord of the Rings. Now they're doing The Office, Star Trek, Marvel Comics, Final Fantasy VII. Like, maybe Final Fantasy. It has fantasy in the title. But The Office? Why would I want to play Magic cards with The Office? That doesn't make any sense to me. But I guess they're just winding it down at this point. I mean, do a separate game if you're going to do the Office cards. I mean, you can make them compatible, but just do it as a separate set. It's this weird thing in Magic cards. Alien Earth ends with turning protagonists into psychopath murderers and megalomaniacs. Yeah, I've heard nothing but bad reviews on this show, too. Not that I was interested in watching any more of Alien. It's sort of like, talk about beating a dead horse. Can we just be done with this? This is another thing that's a real problem with these corporations. They think these IPs will last forever, and they just can't. They just keep morphing into something else. It's like Whisper Down the Lane. You know, this IP is pretty far afield from what it was. I don't know what it is now. But, you know, it's one thing, okay, we have this IP and we have a library of comics or novels. Okay. You know, in the case of Star Wars, you completely ignored those novels to do a bunch of other BS. So what was the point? You know, it'd be different if you had a consistent continuity that was canon and you stuck to it. Then I think people would be interested in it because you'd be building on the history. Instead, everybody in Hollywood wants to change things forever. It seems to me. So, pass. Hard pass. Storebang is here. Derivative content fatigue. Ooh. Good term for it. DCF. More DCF. Derivative content fatigue. Ooh, yeah, bad case of DCF over here. I got to remember that. DCF, derivative content fatigue. Adam Driver and Anne Hathaway are in a thing. Elon Musk declares that Netflix peddling trans propaganda is not free speech. Well, I would say it's, number one, kind of unethical to put it in kids' shows. And then I would say that it's misleading, possibly fraud, to claim it's a kid show and then put this adult stuff in it. I don't quite see how it. I guess that's not free speech. I don't know. You might be able to make an argument. Indie Phantom. Remember when Star Wars had value? I barely do. Oh, it had so much value. Holy cow. Jerry Bruckheimer provides update on Pirates of the Caribbean sequel and confirms Margot Robbie's still involved. Ooh, well, that'll make a lot of money. Yeah, maybe you could call it the big, beautiful journey to the bottom of the sea. Jay-Z. I mean, it's child abuse, really. Yeah. Yeah, it's closer to that than... It's weird to throw freedom of speech in there, but... Where the hell is the DCU stuff? I got to get to that. Oh, here's Swifty. She kind of looks good in that picture. But she's all dolled up in that. Trump interrupts SNL cold open to threaten show not to do anything too mean or he'll have the FCC attack. Daddy's watching. Okay. SNL continues to put out the same quality comedy it has been doing for, I don't know, the last 20 years. When's the last time anything from SNL went viral? Bad Bunny mocks Fox News for slamming Super Bowl, gig, and SNL monologue. You have 4 months to learn Spanish. No, thank you. So, I say to that, I'm not learn Spanish. I don't even want to watch the Super Bowl, much less the halftime show. Last time I watched the Super Bowl was just to watch Tom Brady lose to the Eagles. So I was fine with that because, I was trying to support the local team here. But, and I kind of wanted to see Tom Brady lose finally. I think he had too many wins. I think he needed to be taken down a peg. But this upcoming Super Bowl, unless the Eagles are in it, I'm out. Let's see. Taylor Swift and Charlie XCX feud rumors explode over actually romantic song. How did we get here? We got here because a PR firm probably came up with this, so I don't believe that for a second. Indie Phantom, Super Bowl is woke AF. Yes, my point exactly. The NFL has gone super woke in my view. That haven't heard anything about those male cheerleaders they put on the Vikings team. Are they still doing that? I guess they are. Daniel Day-Lewis says method acting has become an easy target and implies that an actor is behaving like a lunatic. Everyone tends to focus on the less important details. I don't know. I think some of it's stupid. There's a famous story with Dustin Hoffman on the set of Marathon Man. Again, awesome movie. So, he was acting with Sir Charles Olivier, who plays a bad guy from Germany who's in America, and he's trying to kill Dustin Hoffman. And Dustin Hoffman wanted to be shivering, so they had a giant tub full of ice water so he could jump in it and then jump out, so he'd be actually shivering for the scene. And Laurence Olivier just looked at him and said, you know, after several takes, Dustin, why don't you just act? Which is my point exactly. I mean, I get a little bit of it, kind of gets you in the headspace. I mean, I kind of understand that, but the method guys are a little weird. Let's see. More SNL. How many times are you going to cover SNL? Covering Ed Gein stuff. This K-pop Demon Hunters thing. I don't know why it's popular. I don't want to watch it. Channing Tatum says actors are incentivized to make bad things for money over making something really, really good. It's such an upside down moment. Indie Phantom. Brando is my favorite method actor because the method was to make everyone around him nuts.
Bring me my bucket hat.
The best was when he showed up to Apocalypse Now. That's such a great making of movie. He showed up to Apocalypse Now and he steps off the helicopter and the helicopter goes whoom because he's so heavy. And he was supposed to lose weight, but he was even fatter when he showed up. And then Coppola just put him all in black and it only showed his face because it couldn't possibly show that big fat dude as a special forces guy. I don't know. Channing Tatum's talking about acting. I mean, does he even act? He was okay in This Is the End as himself. That was a funny moment. Rob Reiner. Meathead, everybody, has a hot take. Oh, Meathead hot take. Rob Reiner says, U.S. will become an autocracy if Trump is allowed to control the media and commandeer the election. We have a year to stop him. Indie Phantom, LOL. Yeah, to show you how, I don't know what's the word. The wagons are circling for the remainder of the mainstream media, right? So 60 Minutes, which once, like back in the 70s, it used to be a good show. Like you could watch 60 Minutes and they expose somebody and you'd be like, oh, that's cool. Now it's just, I think it's just a shadow of a shadow of a shadow of its former self. So I believe it was tonight on 60 Minutes. They interviewed Rob Reiner, I think about Spinal Tap and probably about his stupid political meathead hot takes. I mean, he's... and Spinal Tap's just gone. Spinal Tap 2 was in the theaters for what? A week? Gone. It didn't even look watchable. That is sad. How does Christopher Guest and Harry Shearer and Michael McKean drop the ball that hard? I just can't believe it. I guess they're just too old for it. Comedy really is a young man's game. Or it's a game for guys who are at least young at heart. Or man, they just look so dead and buried in that trailer. Indie Phantom. Rob Reiner's Spinal Tap sequel certainly didn't make an impression. Yeah. It's just gone. It is online already. It is? I'm not surprised. It looked terrible. It looks so terrible. From Bleecker Street, of all places. And I knew they were in trouble the moment they showed clips of the old one. Indie Phantom, I might watch it out of morbid curiosity. Yeah, me too. Like, I knew they were in trouble the moment I saw this. I was like, oh no. They're showing clips of the old one. And then they drag out Paul McCartney to try to help prop it up. I really wanted this to be funny. They just look so old and tired. They really do. I mean, Christopher Guest looks like a mummy. I didn't even think they were that old. Maybe it just does something to your face when you're that old. I don't know. How old are these guys? Are they in their 70s? I think they might be. Indie Phantom, when it was first announced, seemed like a god idea. Let's see. Christopher Guest is born in 1948. 1948. That's like 77? Shoo. Indie Phantom. Then it was just kind of randomly dumped out there. Yeah, Bleecker Street is not a big company, from what I understand. It's pretty small. Harry Shearer, born in 43. He's 82? Wow. Indie Phantom, yeah, they're getting up there. I didn't know Harry Shearer was that old. 47 Michael McKean was born in, so he's 78. Whew. Yeah, too late. Too late to do this. Should have just said no. I mean, no wonder they look like they're half asleep. How do you even stay awake at that age? I got ground down by my Saturday. I was hurting today. Not gonna lie, I was hurting. And last night when I got home, I could barely get in and out of the seat. But Indie Phantom, what was the budget? I don't know if the budget was in there. Spinal Tap. Whatever the budget was, it was too much because I don't think this movie did jack. Was that even in the top 10 at any point? Asked Indie Phantom. I don't think so. It made $2.8 million. There's no way this thing made its money. Oh, here's the production budget. $22 million. It made $2.8 million and it's out of theaters. It's done. It lost most of its budget. I mean, it lost basically $21 million. Jesus, plus whatever you paid to advertise it. So this thing probably lost the studio like $30 million. The only way I think you could even sell this, and it was only 84 minutes. No. This was just too late. Just too late. 20 years ago, you could have done this. It would have been a smash. Indie Phantom, holy shite. 20 years ago, this would have been a smash hit. These days, when did they do the first one? I don't think that was the 80s, or was it? Yeah, it was 84. Wow. Retire, Reiner. Oh, yeah, he needs to retire. Absolutely. Reiner is he's too political, is what it boils down to. Indie Phantom, sell to Tubi. Yeah. Well, I just watched that Takeout movie on Tubi. It was pretty decent. The first two acts are very quick and good. And they drag it out for a third act to just fill in the other half hour, unfortunately. But Indie Phantom 1984, yeah. Phew, 40 years ago. Yeah, if they had done a sequel in like 2000, 2004, would have been perfect. People would have remembered it. Indie Phantom belated sequel is DOA. Yep. The only way you could have saved that is to really make fun of the music industry. And looking at that trailer, they had no concept of today's music industry. Indie Phantom, heard Takeout was decent. It is decent. The first two acts, it zooms. It's great. And then the third act kind of gets bogged down in a bunch of, at that point you're just like, why don't the characters just run away? But even though it was that, like, if I did a rewrite on that movie, I would have put more things earlier on. I would have added like maybe 2 customer characters and like pushed it. So the third act in this one, I would cut about 20 minutes out of the third act. There's a lot of cat and mouse stuff at the end that just goes on way too long. But I got to give them credit. The first 2 acts are sweet. Indie Phantom, they should have had the band ripping on Reiner's woke ass political takes. Not a chance. But that would have been great. I mean, Harris Shearer's, he's very liberal. I don't know if he would have been down with that. Michael McKean and Christopher Guest. I know Michael McKean is. I'm not sure about Christopher Guest's politics, but like, it should have been a no prisoners kind of thing. What they really needed to do was go after the music industry the way it is today. And the music industry today is, I can't even believe I'm saying it, it's much worse than it was back in 1984. And that's saying something. I mean, in 1984, people made fun of how bad the music industry is. I mean, now it's just you want to talk about something that AI is going to absolutely continue to destroy, it'll be the music industry. They already have AIs now that can make pretty decent songs about anything. And they're not bad. One of the guys on here sent me the link to the songs. Who was it? Oh, gosh, I can't remember. Who sent me a link to the song? Was it one of you guys? I don't think so. The Kraken. He plays with that stuff all the time. And he sent me a song. It was pretty good. It was all about the Pineys. I have a link to it on my X account somewhere. So stuff about, they have, the voice modulators, all that, even the stuff before AI that they did to make people's voices sound good. You could have made fun of that. You could make fun of all the rap stuff, which is just terrible now. And it's not even real rap. I mean, it's all, the same producers make the music. You could have made fun of Diddy and all the criminality around the business. I mean, there's so much there. But it looks to me like those guys aren't even up on the current music scene. Or they just ignored it all to do the same bits they did 40 years ago. 41 years ago. So they would have had at least a chance if they did that. One of the guys getting into world music or, working on some of the stupid TV shows where people sing and, they're judges. Like, one of them should have been a judge on The Voice or something, or a show just like it. They could have just made up one. It looks like the same damn stupid bits. And these are late 70s, 80-year-old guys doing it? Did they even write it? Indie Phantom, potential squandered. Who wrote the damn movie? That's what I want to know. Christopher Guest, Michael McKean, and Rob Reiner. Okay. And Reiner's no spring chicken either. And Harry Shearer. So, sad. Reiner is also in his late 70s, 78. Indie Phantom will download it and not give it money. Screw Meathead. Yes, screw Meathead indeed. All right, moving on. Let's see. Dua Lipa turns Los Angeles into dazzling dance party on her Radical Optimism tour. I mean, these are the kind of singers they have now, like Swiftie. You know, these hot chicks or young hot girls that they just use up basically because they're hot. Katy Perry was like that. They just build them up. I mean, you could have made fun of that in the music industry. Lady Gaga is certainly ripe to be made fun of. Holy cow. Indie Phantom, check the Rotten Tomatoes score. I have heard no reviews. All right. Rotten Tomatoes. All right, let's see how bad this is. Wow. People give it 90%. That's pretty good if I trusted Rotten Tomatoes. The critics only gave it 67%. Interesting. Here's the critics' reviews and the audience reviews. The sequel feels as long as an extended guitar solo you did not ask for in a concert that started 2 hours late. So that's a negative review. Another negative review. These are the critics. The worst part is that only 82 minutes, you'll still find yourself restless and wondering when it's going to wrap up. There wasn't even enough funny material to sustain that length, with the final act basically just a concert film. Indie Phantom, dubious score. Well, let's see what the audience said. Maybe these are all bots. I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes at all. Now, these are random normies. Spinal Tap is a tough act to follow. I was happy to spend time with the band and revive old times despite the fact the movie lacked the tempo, energy, and edge of the first. It was never going all the way to 11, but this is a solid, enjoyable flick like an acoustic cover of a rock classic. So that was a good review, a medium review. Now here's a bad review. I walked out within 10 minutes. Audience was old people, and all the jokes were about how they are old now and don't know anything about technology. I suggest watching Fubar 1 and 2 if you want good rock mockumentary. 82 minutes, LOL, says Indie Phantom. Brett enjoyed it, honestly. Didn't have the momentum of the original. Well, these guys are in their late 70s, 80s, so sure. Indie Phantom, yeah, this was a bad idea. Here's somebody who loved it. Michael, could this be Michael McKee? Stupid humor at its finest. Escapism at its best. Forget the real world for a bit and enjoy something that never really was. So much fun. If you are the one who loved the original, Spinal Tap, says Moira. That sounds like a fake name. So, I don't know. I wouldn't trust this. Here, Play Dirty, which I kind of want to see. It's a Shane Black movie. It's not getting good reviews so far. No bueno. Shane is good. Yeah, I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes. You need to review it, Tony, says Indie Phantom. I don't know, man. If it comes up free, I'll review it. I'm still waiting to review. I owe a review to Megalopolis if I ever can find it for free. I thought that thing would be free like a month later, but I don't know. Does Coppola still own the rights to it? Is that why it's not free? Is he still demanding people pay for it? No, thank you. No bueno. I thought it was going to be something. I mean, I didn't know it was going to be, I didn't think it was going to be a genius movie. It could have been. My God, I didn't think it was going to be a disaster. Indie Phantom was going to ask my dad. He watched Play Dirty. I like Shane Black, so he always writes a good script. White House slams SNL after cold open targets Trump and FCC chair Brendan Carr. I have more entertaining things to do, like watch paint dry. Boom. Indie Phantom, I heard the mega doc about Megalopolis is awesome. Like Hearts of Darkness 2. Interesting. Well, I would watch that, but I haven't watched the movie, so... Is Aubrey Plaza topless in that? I kind of think I remember hearing that she was. That'd be one reason to say it. Van Jones apologizes for his insensitive and hurtful comment about children in Gaza. I'm praying and working for an immediate end to this war. What the hell did he say? Oh, jeez. What the hell did you say? F the children of Gaza. I hope they all starve. What did he say? When you have to apologize for something like that, I don't think you should have a job on TV. Like, if you lose your mind and say something that stupid, like, it just sounds dumb. Like, but he's a dummy anyway, in my opinion. Kimberly Herbert Gregory, vice principal star, dies at 52. I don't remember her. Kind of early. 52. That's too young, said the 59-year-old. What did she die of? Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Yeah, usually they have something about, there has not been a cause of death was not given or whatever, but I don't see that here. Indie Phantom, I still need to listen to the commentary on Megalopolis. Coppola does a decent commentary on his films, but want to hear him justify this mess. Van Jones still has a career somehow. I know. He's had to apologize, I think, before. I forget why, though. All right, moving on to Bounding into Comics. Can't even read that headline. What the hell are you doing? Is there anything here? James Gunn might keep the door open a crack for bisexual Killer Croc in DCU. Yeah, don't go ahead. I'm not gonna watch it. I'm out. I'm so out now. But it wasn't for this headline. But that's a nice little segue into James Gunn. Where the hell's the James Gunn headlines? I forget where they are. Must have happened earlier in the week. So James Gunn's being interviewed about his stupid Peacemaker show, and he went off, talking about his, in my opinion, incredibly lazy creative decision to make it, a world of bad guys from Germany. But he had lines in the show like, "Oh, this world isn't so different from our own," and then somehow one of the characters is black, and she ends up with Peacemaker there, and somehow they didn't know it was the bad guys from Germany world, and somehow that goes unnoticed until a scene where she's outside or something. But then there's a second character, I think he's Asian, named Judo Man, this week electrified a pool full of people from that world, including women and children, and justified it because they're from that world kind of thing. I mean, it's just nuts. I don't know what he's doing, and now I don't care. The only part of the DCU I'm now interested in is the part that Matt Reeves controls. So I'll watch the Batman 2, but I don't want anything to do with the rest of it. James Gunn, I don't know. Yeah, maybe he got the memo. Now he's going to be woke. He's been forgiven for his awful post, and now he's just going off the rails. And apparently, he admits that at least some of Peacemaker is, number one, important to the DCU. He said, is a direct sequel to Superman, even though it also has a bisexual orgy with Peacemaker in it, and them doing cocaine, and then also it's important to watch, and also it's part of his politics and beliefs or what. I don't even care anymore. So sick of him. I gave him a lot of deference because he did some decent superhero movies. He or at least the Suicide Squad was decent, and Guardians of the Galaxy was pretty good. The first one. I haven't even seen the third one. The second one was so bad. But this BS, I'm so done. Now I just hope they fire him. I hope all his movies fail and they fire him and give it all to Matt Reeves. Give it to Matt Reeves. He did a good job. He hasn't. I don't know. I don't have a clue what Matt Reeves' political positions are. And I don't want to know. And I don't think he's sharing it. He's not on the internet every day talking about things, defending his creative decisions. He just made an awesome movie, in my opinion. I like the Batman. Even though the theaters tried to charge me an extra $1, you mother... I'll just watch it at home for free on Max, which for some reason I have because of my phone. And if you ever try to charge me for Max, I will say, toodaloo. K-pop Demon Hunters singers make surprise SNL appearance with first ever golden performance. Ugh. Man, they're trying to get people to watch SNL, aren't they? Good luck with that. I mean, I saw they had a sketch about it. I didn't know they actually appeared on the show. Well, whatever. Michelle Pfeiffer recalls bloody incident with Al Pacino that landed her Scarface role. Yeah, during an audition, I think she slapped Pacino or something. Drew blood. All the same stuff. All the same stuff. How the Grammys' new Beyonce rule is polarizing country music. See, this would have been fodder for Spinal Tap. Beyonce and her stupid move into country music. Indie Phantom, Jesus F. Spinal Tap 2 even played IMAX? Looking at the poster. Probably. I mean, it would be a perfect movie to do in IMAX because it's a concert movie. Partly. Indie Phantom, I will drop in with a review during next week's streaming comments. All right. Godspeed. Resident Evil Severance breakout Zach Cherry, True Detective star Kylie Reese joins Zach Kreger's reboot. Not interested in Zach Kreger's stuff either. I mean, Weapons was super overrated. Like, ridiculously overrated. It was okay. Not even worth recommending, really. I mean, is this what we have to look forward to? Oh, it's a movie. Part of it's good. It's like, I mean, that's what kind of was Takeout. Takeout, at least 2/3 of it was good. But, geez. It's not that hard. It's really not to write a script and follow it. It's just not that hard. That's why I'm kind of looking forward to AI. I could just write the script, send it to the AI, and hopefully the AI can follow my script. And that's what I'll do. I'll yell at the AI, follow the script exactly. Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees to get third volume as IDW mints a hit franchise. How does IDW stay in business is my question. I've never seen anybody ever talk about IDW in the comic world. Indie Phantom, Krager's first flick was the sex comedy Miss March. He reinvented himself. He should go back to that. Currently in the middle of its second volume, The Cuddly Serial Killer has sold more than 300,000 copies of comic and collected editions. Never heard of this. So it's Smokey the Bear as a serial killer? That doesn't sound good at all. All right, Bleeding Fool. Indie Phantom, at least woke-ass Get Out director is slowly going away. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting that. I think he has another movie lined up, though. Can't remember his name. LOL. Jordan Peele. For some reason, him I remember. Oh yeah, Jordan Peele. Says Indie Phantom. Elizabeth Olsen confesses she can't remember anything about the latest MCU gig. Indie Phantom, him ruined him. Oh, that's his movie? That's Jordan Peele? Oh, that's wrong him. Oh, come on. Oh, here it is. No, he didn't direct that. What was he, the EP? Doesn't say. Yeah, he must have been one of the producers. Yeah, that ain't gonna help him. Oh my God, Jim Jeffries in it. I hate Jim Jeffries. What an absolute tool. I can't stand that dude. And Tim Heidecker, you could have him too. Indie Phantom, most thought he directed it. Check any trailer. Oh, okay. Maybe that was part of the plan. Tim Heidecker. Why the hell would you cast him in it? Oh, from Jordan Peele. Yeah, that makes sense. Huh. Jeez, this is like a who's who of people I can't stand. Tim Heidecker, Jim Jeffries. I like Marlon Wayans. He's okay. Julia Fox. Why would you put these people in a movie? My friend had a barge theory. And the barge theory was you take all the people you don't like and put them on a barge and you float it out in the ocean and sink it. And the people you really don't like, you tie to the side of the barge and you slap it against the dock before you go out into the ocean and sink it. Indie Phantom, don't know Jim Jeffries. He's an Australian Australian comedian who was hot for about 10 minutes. He had an FX show and he was pretty funny. And initially he was he was kind of super based. Kinda. Indie Phantom, don't know anyone except Wayans. Julia Fox, I think, is one of Kanye West's ex-girlfriends or something. So Tim Heidecker was in that Adult Swim show, Tim and Eric. He he's practically Antifa in his political views. But anyway, Indie Phantom, this movie did sink hard. But anyway, Jim Jeffries, he when things started to go woke, he started to change his act, I think, a little bit. But the big thing he did was he was on a show where he did interviews with people and totally effed them in the interview. So he interviewed Avi Yemeni. And Avi is a guy who, he's Jewish, and he was fighting against the immigration in Australia. And he secretly taped the interview he did with Jeffries because he was worried that Jeffries would make him look like a bad guy from Germany. And that's exactly what he did. They recut the interview in such a way to associate Avi with the bad guys from Germany. And then he released the interview uncut on YouTube or whatever. I think I saw it on Bitchute. I don't even think it got on YouTube. Man. Like, Jeffries did everything he could to get him to say the things just to get the sound bites to make Avi look bad. And it was one of the most unethical things I think I've ever seen on video. From that moment on, I absolutely refused to do anything to I didn't know Jeffries was in that movie. I would never go see it. I mean, I would go see John Cena before I would see Jim Jeffries in anything. Indie Phantom, based too woke as the Bill Burr playbook. Oh, that happened this week too. Same with Bill Maher, really. Bill Maher was always very liberal, I would say. I'm going to defend my old boss a little bit. So, he was always super liberal. He's still liberal. So, it's not like he was very base to begin with. Every once in a while, he just says, he's like Fetterman. Every once in a while, he says something based. But it's just more like he's still a liberal with kind of some common sense. But, yeah, Bill Burr broke this week. So there was a big comedy festival in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Indie Phantom, speaking of Bill Maher, he was in House 2. I love House. I celebrate the catalog of House movies. I did a podcast with some friends, and that weirdly came up in our discussion about the 80s horror flick Dolls. Yeah, that's a good movie. I like House. Indie Phantom, sounds like another woke retard. So, Burr and a bunch of other comedians did a comedy festival in Riyadh, in Saudi Arabia. Now, Indie Phantom, John Cena is hard to look at. Yeah. So the kingdom allegedly is really on. They've got just money to burn, as always. But one of the things they've been trying to do is modernize and change their image. So the comedy festival is a way to kind of do that. Now, I can understand if some up-and-coming comic who's not very political and doesn't give an F and has never complained in public about, say, America, got invited to the Riyadh Comedy Festival and went and did it. Like, I kind of don't like that, but at the same time, I'd say, well, you know, maybe he needs the money, he needs a boost to his career or whatever. Bill Burr and Dave Chappelle, I will throw a little shade at. Those guys have both had a lot of complaints. More so Bill Burr than Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle kind of made some noise. Not really woke noise, but I don't think you can go to a place like Saudi Arabia and perform for them and then come back here and say how bad this country is. And that's pretty much, I mean, like, Bill Burr, you know, he made his stupid comments about Luigi Mangione, and he's made some flippant comments that are kind of like, oh, America's kind of racist sort of comments. Not that explicitly, but kind of leaning into that. Yeah, I don't. Bill Burr doesn't get to do that. He doesn't get to go to Saudi Arabia and say, "Oh, they're pretty cool." F you, dude. F you and your money. Done. Done. You're on the absolute top of the list of guys not to support. Indie Phantom. Chappelle is also sold out, in my opinion. I guess. He's still funny, though. And Indie Phantom, F them. I don't know. Chappelle has said some stuff about America and now. But, like, to me, if Chappelle comes back, takes the money and then comes back and blasts the Royals, which he may very well do, and then I'll kind of be okay with it. But Bill Burr won't. I don't think he will. No way. I think he wants to go back. I can't believe he did that. And then defended it. Like, no way. Done with Bill Burr. Indie Phantom. Burr is an ass face. Dude was in Disney Star Wars, so he sucks. It's just amazing that a guy like that, with the persona he had, would go woke. Like, don't you just look at your persona and then look at the woke people and go, well, that's not going to go. That's not going to work at all. So the only choice at that point is, well, I got to change my persona somehow. He hasn't changed his persona one bit. He's still doing those sorts of bits. Still talking about sports and trying to be like a blue-collar guy. Indie Phantom, I'm not even American and I want Burr deported. Unfortunately, Burr is a U.S. citizen, so there's no place to send him other than Boston. JC, it's his wife's fault. Definitely, I would imagine she has some influence in that area. She hates Trump. She was caught up in that whole UFC moment when Trump came in. So, yeah, I'm sure the wife has some say on how Bill is perceived in the public. Bill, honey, you can't say that. Don't you know how oppressed people are? Let me get this straight. He makes millions of dollars doing the comedy, and now you're going to edit his comedy. Indie Phantom, JEC, I blame the wives for 90% of the dude I went to high school that turned out woke. Well, it is true. Women are more vulnerable to this because it really attacks the being woke, being Marxist, whatever you want to call it. It's an attack on the nurturing instinct. The moment one of these Antifa morons does something and then cries, "Oh, I'm hurt. The cops beat me up." That's the moment when I think a woman will be like, "Oh, no, you've been hurt? That's not right," without looking at the bigger picture here. So, they had this really fat Antifa guy that they had to arrest, and the cops couldn't move him. So they got a cart, and they put him on the cart and wheeled him into the police station, which was freaking hilarious. But I could totally see some women looking at that going, "Oh, that's terrible." Just because their default, a lot of times, is this nurturing instinct like, "Oh, that's not right. I want everybody to get along." So yeah, I think there's a lot of truth in what you're saying. Indie Phantom, don't send Burr to Canada. We have enough lefties. No, Burr, I don't know what Burr's probably going to make the move into serious actor. That's what I predict. He's going to keep leaning into his acting, get bigger gigs, and eventually just abandon stand-up for the most part. Because that's where all the money is. Indie Phantom, any guy that married a teacher literally went woke. I had one friend place a BLM poster in his window. Ugh. Yeah, BLM, that's pretty bad. I can understand if you're black, maybe, and you get caught up in the BLM movement, or did. I can understand that to a certain extent. I would give you a little bit of leeway because, you know, it looked like it did start out as a legitimate movement, by the way. It was co-opted, but it started out as a legitimate movement. But, yeah, if your wife pushed you into doing that, that's no bueno. And really, that's where you have to draw the line. I mean, me and my girlfriend have a pretty good policy of not discussing politics, and I'm quite sure she's not watching now. The moment I mention politics in the live stream, she usually just bails on the live stream. And good for her. I mean, she doesn't want to hear my stupid opinions, so that's fine. It's probably only going to make her mad anyway. So if you're just going to get mad, then there's no point in hearing other people's political opinions, really. But if you want to learn other people's opinions, and sometimes I do, you got to be open and listen. Not that you're necessarily going to, most people don't change their political opinions. But at some point, you have to be open to hearing what they are. So, for instance, I always was, way back in the day when I was a Democrat, I never really understood the argument against abortion. And then it was many years later that I started listening to Ron Paul, and then I heard him talk about, and then I still am not anti-abortion, but I understand now what the anti-abortion argument is, and that there is some merit to what they're saying if you hear, the merits of it, as opposed to what I usually heard, which was just like, oh, they just want to disempower women. And now that I've heard the actual opinion, it sort of changes your perspective. You realize, oh, some of these people are very reasonable. Indie Phantom, he wasn't black and lives in an all-white neighborhood. Yeah, there's no excuse for that. That is like total cuckoldry, in my opinion. Woke mind virus spreads fast. I dated some liberal chicks. Couldn't do it now. I don't know how you didn't dating in Canada then. But things are changing, at least here in the States. And the thing with, and again, I mean, I'm not trying to make this a sexist thing, but it comes off that way. The thing about women is this, and this is from what I know. Women are very much aware of their image, and they're very worried about that. Indie Phantom, although most women are lib feminists, so just how it is. Well, but I think first and foremost, women have a different set of priorities. And one of their big priorities is their image. So a lot of that colors their decision-making process. It's not so much their decision, but how it makes them look. It's not so much, the functionality of the room, but how it looks. So this is why I think women buy, for instance, a bunch of useless crap that men don't want to decorate, right? Because it's about how it looks. Not, they would rather have a good-looking couch that isn't very comfortable than a really comfortable couch that, in their view, doesn't look good. So when it comes to politics, they tend to lean towards the opinions that most people hold and that they perceive make them look like a good person. Because that's part of the nurturing too, right? It's not just enough to be a good person and help people. You have to look like a good person and help people. And actually, this is some of what Carl said on his video. So I'm not totally disagreeing with him, but it's more for women than it is for men. Men kind of don't care what they look like in some respects. Some men do, but a lot of men don't. That's why a man could go out on his front lawn in his bathrobe and pick up the newspaper. And women just would be like, oh, I can't go outside. I'm not ready. Indie Phantom, dating in Canada is ass. I just adopted the bachelor lifestyle for the most part. I think you can find sensible women if you look hard. F it, I want a comfy couch, Tony. Yeah, I hear you. So they adopt these sort of views because they're popular and everybody else is, and it looks good. We're slowly, and it's going to take a while, but slowly the tide is turning where the views are changing. So you're going to have to be a different kind of person to look good. And that's what you're seeing now. It's slowly happening, and it's a very slow. It has to be slow enough so the women making the change can make it in a way that's imperceptible, so they can basically just pretend like they've always been that way. And once that happens, you know, you're going to see a lot of women say, well, of course I go to church. Good people go to church. Even though they only started going to church like a year and a half ago, let's say. And I think the moment Trump is out of office and we're at the point where J.D. Vance is the likely candidate and probably going to get reelected or elected into office, I think you're going to see a lot of women switch over because, well, he's not Trump. See, it wasn't that the move will be, it wasn't that I didn't occasionally vote for a Republican. It's just that I just didn't want to vote for Trump. See, it's not that the policies were terrible. It's just Trump was terrible. And now he's gone. And JD seems like a perfectly nice man with a nice family. And I think that's how they'll ease into switching it and how most women will. Now, there'll be holdouts, of course. And even the women who are still sort of liberal they'll say, yeah, I don't vote for Vance, but they'll treat him more reasonably, is my prediction. They'll have this perception of it. Well, he's much more reasonable. I don't vote for him. I don't believe what he's saying, but he is, you know, he's our president. Like, they'll be okay if J.D. Vance gets elected, I think. And I think the front runner for the Democrats is probably going to be Gavin Newsom, and he's going to be a disaster. No woman in their right mind is going to support him because he cheated on his wife with his campaign manager's wife during an election and had to apologize for it. And watch the apology. It's not a very good apology, in my opinion. Indie Phantom. What about the latest dumb Bond controversy? They released new artwork for the previous movies that removes all the guns. First it was cigarettes. Soon Bond will be removed entirely, losing faith in the direction it's going. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. It's pretty bad. Now, Amazon apparently reversed course on it, but it's Amazon. So I was saying that the entire entertainment division needs to be purged from employment. Indie Phantom. Villeneuve hasn't ruled out Black Bond. Yeah, at this point, I don't even care because unless they're going to do something, Indie Phantom, Newsom keeps hanging around. I know. He really wants to be president. At this point, unless they're going to do something major like put Bond back in the Cold War, that would be the move, man. If you put Bond back into the Cold War, you do two things. Indie Phantom. Oh, sorry, missed the discussion. Oh, don't worry about it. If you put Bond back in the Cold War, you do two things. Number one, you have an open license to kill and to womanize and to drink and to smoke, and no one can say boo to you. Because the moment you say, hey, what are you doing all that stuff for? You can say, oh, well, this is, Bond back in the 60s. That's what they did in the 60s, right? Right, yeah. Can't go back in time and make it woke. All right. Like, that's what he should do. If he did that, and then all bets would be off, and you could do whatever you wanted, basically. And Bond would be Bond again, because then it would be Bond against Spectre backed by the Soviet Union, the way it should be. If he tries to do another modern-day Bond, no. It's not going to work. It's not going to work unless they make him the most based Bond ever, which is what I would do. Oh, I'd absolutely make Bond super based. I'd have him banging chicks left and right. You know? It would be great. I wouldn't have him smoke, because I think if you had a modern Bond, he'd just be smart enough not to smoke. But sure, martinis. Martinis aren't going to kill you unless you have too many. Indie Phantom, they do need something fresh with Bond, but not how they interpret fresh. Yes, they need new talent. Well, they need talent that is good, I'll say. Not necessarily new, but they need talent that's good. They just don't have it. The creative people they have, I think, at Amazon are all corporate people, or they're listed, or their hands are tied by the corporate people. You pay all this money for these people to do creative stuff, and then you tell them what to do? That, I think, explains 90% of what's going on behind the scenes at places like Amazon, I think. Indie Phantom, modern day Bond doesn't really work anyway. Yes! Absolutely. Absolutely. I gotta go. I gotta take a piss. Hold on. Joan, you're up. Okay, entertain. Alright, I'm back. I'm back. What did Joan do? It's like how the Mission Impossible films leaned into AI as a villain. Not interesting. And the stunts make no sense anymore. Yes, I agree. Indie Phantom. The whole movies in modern Bond, they're not realistic. Because where are the threats? Nuts. Joan, I found more doggy bags, by the way. Where are the threats coming from? Indie Phantom. Even Indiana Jones still set in the past they couldn't handle. Yeah, that was really woked up. They really wanted to F that movie franchise. And they have. I think it's done. Some people bought the video game, but I don't know why. I'm done with it. I'm done with that. And I'll probably be done with Bond when this new version comes out. But you know, one thing that's a factor, maybe it's just time at a certain point to retire an IP. Like maybe it just reaches a point once the creator's been long dead, all the stories that the original creator wrote have all been exhausted. Maybe it's just time to go, okay, let's just close the book on this and move on with our lives and do something new. And I'll tell you, there's a book series I always mention, Mac Bolan, The Executioner. It's probably what they based the original Punisher on. There's like over 300 books. Yeah, that's like a lifetime of movies you could make. I'm sure you could pick the best 10 and make a bunch of movies. But, you know, it's an old series from the 70s, so I'm sure there's lots of smoking and drinking and banging chicks in that. Indie Phantom, guessing Bond won't take on the globalist, but I would enjoy that. Oh, yeah, that would be a great one, right? Bond versus basically, what's his face? Oh, the guy that just retired. Or George Soros. Or Alex Soros. But they'll never do that. They might be forced to retire Bond if they F it up well enough. Maybe. I don't know. If they just cast a British guy and don't woke it up too much, it'll probably do okay. But I don't know, man. Amazon seems determined to in certain realms, like Reacher started out super strong. I've never seen a show start as strong as the Reacher show did. That first season is freaking amazing. And then it ends strong. Everything about that show was like, holy F. And then the second season was like, meh. And now it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of woke. Kind of like, are you not following the books? Indie Phantom, did they do some movie based on The Executioner? I don't think they ever did, as far as I know. I wouldn't even know about the series, but my friend, who's utterly obsessed with The Punisher, found that out. He tried to option the rights. They may be caught up in some legal thing, because the author is passed. His wife's still alive. And, again, it may be too dated for modern audiences in the perception of the TV people. And his audience is, that was back when men read paperbacks. So, unfortunately, there's a lot of book series like that. Some are even still popular, but I don't think Hollywood's looking at them at all, because Hollywood doesn't read. Every producer I ever met, none of them read scripts, and they have to read the scripts. They won't read them. They don't read books. None of these guys I ever talked to ever read a book. I'd be talking to them. No. Books? No. I bet they didn't. And that was years ago. I haven't talked to a producer in a while, other than my one friend. And he reads a little bit. But now, forget it. These guys don't read. Indie Phantom, Bond versus Sorts. Bond v. Sorts for the win. They will beat Bond to death even if they just end up on streaming. Did Reacher get cooked? Kinda. The first season's still awesome. It's all one story. You should watch it. Never saw it. The actor was a woke moron. That's who I kind of blame. I think maybe his influence pulled it that way, but they're already doing a spin-off for the show, one of the female characters, which I don't get at all. Indie Phantom, Sora, stupid spell check error. Oh, sorry. Hollywood reads less than ever. Yeah. And in fact, I know that from personal experience trying to get people to buy the Pineys. A lot of people just say, I don't really read, dude. Especially the men, I'll say. Most of the men, a lot of them don't read. And I really got to sell them hard to get them to read it. And usually my pitch is, listen, just give it a chance, because my books are real dialogue driven. There's not a lot of description, and stuff happens. And I've talked about this before. Women tend to want stories about relationships and description and build up, where men tend to want to see things happen and, have the story move forward. Indie Phantom, books are woke now, at least the best-selling ones. They've been that way for a while. The first thing that went woke was books. They went woke before anything else. You all right, John? Indie Phantom, female spinoff, LOL. We know how that works out. Yeah. And she is, of course, a woman of color. Yeah, I mostly read nonfiction and not a lot of it. Yeah, most men do read nonfiction because you learn stuff, and it doesn't mess around, right? Like nonfiction just tells you, okay, this was this and that was this, and I read some of that too. Clint Miller's here. Sometimes I get my Bond villains mixed up, like Blofeld and Odd Job. Well, Blofeld is the bald, scarred one with the white cat, and Odd Job is the guy with the hat. Let's see. Franchise record breaker. The Conjuring Last Rites hits digital this week. Okay. Yeah, it did pretty well out of the Conjuring movies. Confirmed, Disney burned $254 million on Weinstein proteges, The Acolyte. I mean, Clint Miller. Yeah, blowjob. Oh, you mean like you mix them together? Yeah, I mean, I don't know why this had to be confirmed. I thought this was a done deal that Disney burned like over $250 million on The Acolyte. I don't know why you would. Indie Phantom. Ballerina mostly sucked, even though Anna is a smoke show. She wasn't even dressed sexy enough in most scenes. Storebang. Oddfeld. Yeah, Anna and Anna's moves were not good. In the trailer, I was like, she's not really bringing the heat. She's petite. She's a hot little package. Indie Phantom, bored of The Conjuring, but we'll probably check it out. Clint Miller, hey, where's the tea? Where's the tea? Oh, yeah, I ran out of tea. I grabbed some seltzer to come back in here. It's better for my throat. I had a long Saturday of talking about the Pineys. I worked from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. basically selling books. 2 different shows. But I had a great weekend. I think I sold possibly over 100 books. But it got so crazy, I couldn't even keep track of them all. And I had to just keep stuffing the money in my pockets. So that's a good feeling. When you're selling so many things and signing things, and I'm just taking the money, I'm just shoving it in my pocket at one point. I'm just like, all right, this pocket's just going to be for money I didn't sort yet. And then I kind of freaked out while I was packing up because it was kind of dark in the parking lot. I was like, oh man, I don't want anybody to roll me. I got cash on me. And then I got to my parents' place because they lived nearby, and they were like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, I needed a safe, lit space so I could sort my money, and I pulled all my money out and started sorting it. And they were impressed, mildly. Indie Phantom, Anna moves better in the bedroom, or so I hope. Clint Miller, way to go, Tony. Thank you. Yeah, it was a good Saturday. I didn't even mind it today when nobody bought a book at Zed's Beer, but like nobody really showed up because everybody was home watching the Eagles game. But we rescheduled it. It wasn't their fault. It was just we shouldn't have scheduled it against the game. Oh man, excuse me. J.K. Rowling and Emma Watson's trans fight ignores the girls at real risk. Taika Waititi's very young Frankenstein. Oh, he's working on that. Nuts. Indie Phantom, over 100 books is solid. It really was. For one day. Oh, I didn't know Taika Waititi was working on Very Young Frankenstein. God damn it. Oh, this is probably going to be woke. Clint Miller, Ravens sure got clobbered. Yeah, the Eagles lost their game too. I couldn't believe it. When I left Zed's, they were winning 17-3, and they lost. I think they lost 23-17. How do you blow your head by 2 touchdowns after the half and you blow that? JEC, they were relieved you showed up with money instead of asking for money. Yeah. Yeah, that scans for me. Indie Phantom, Taika Waititi can suck it. Let's see what his role here is. They don't have... Oh, great. Zach Galifianakis is in it. Indie Phantom, that dude is garbage level woke. Yeah, he sure is now. Damn it. I didn't know he was going to be involved in this. He's one of the directors. Well, I don't know, man. Carrie Elwes as the President of the United States. Okay. Kumail Nanjiani. He's another guy I kind of can't stand, but maybe? Zach Galifianakis as who? Oh, man, this sounds like it's already done. Mel Brooks is one of the EPs, but I don't know. How much could he possibly be doing? Taika Waititi's an EP, too. Oh, boy. This does not bode well. This does not bode well at all. South Park goes after Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. I can't decide if South Park's uber woke now or just going after people. I really want to watch the episodes myself to make up my mind. For them, I'm willing to give them a little bit of runway, but you know, they have made fun of a lot of people in the past. They've gotten into a lot of trouble. I don't see why they would stop now. But everybody has their day, I suppose, and their price. Indie Phantom, Jesus, haven't heard the name Zach G in a while. Not that I wanted to. Yeah, I know. Zach Galifianakis he's kind of part of that school of meta comedy that I kind of can't stand. He was funny in The Hangover, the first one, but everybody was. And then I think he got some input, and then it was terrible. And if you're wondering why I think DC Comics is so woke that it's worthless now, Indie Phantom, South Park is another IP I am done with. So here's the latest from DC Comics. DC mercifully cancels Kelly Thompson's Birds of Prey. And here you can see all the various female superhero characters all getting ice cream from a female ice cream person. Indie Phantom, just think they sold out. Possibly. But they had a great run. I mean, even The Simpsons finally gave up the ghost, and that was a sad day for me. When The Simpsons went woke, oh, I was very upset. I was very upset. But I've left it behind. But this, look at this. This has got to be the cover of something. My God. My God, woman. You understand? We make superheroes? Do you understand what a superhero is? Like, 20 years ago, if you had done this in an issue of DC Comics, it would have been different. It would have been like, oh, okay. Yeah, one issue we'll do, a story where they all just get ice cream instead of punching people. That'll be different. Most of our comics are people getting punched. But this is like the regular thing now at DC, I think. Is this kind of woke nonsense? Or female nonsense? I don't know what you even call it at this point. I mean, just look at it. You understand, like, ladies, superhero is not a real profession. It's just a made-up thing for comic books, and it's barely a thing. Like, it's barely a subgenre, and you really have to work hard to, like, keep some level of realism in the damn concept. And when you do something like this, it like blows a hole right through the side of the ship and it just sinks it immediately. Like, who is this for? Who is this for? Ugh. I won't rant too much about comics. I'm just going to move on. Over at Deadline. George Clooney and his Broadway show about Murrow, Good Night and Good Luck. Well, first it was a movie. Then they did a Broadway show. Now they're taking the Broadway show on, I think it's on Fathom. Fathom. Indie Phantom. Is Simpsons still making money somehow? My God, who even watches terrestrial TV now? The kids don't reference Homer, do they? No, I don't think so. It's not cool anymore to quote Simpsons. For a while, it was a lot of fun. I would hang out with the improv guys, and sometimes we'd hang out in a bar and just go back and forth with Simpsons quotes for an hour. Indie Phantom, I love that show so much for its first 8 seasons. I know, right? So many brilliant, iconic moments, and now it's like, oh my God, the stuff they've done now, it's really bad in my view. Like the last season I watched was almost every show was unwatchable. Wasn't even close to what it was. It was like, what the hell, man? Grandpa is gay? That was literally one of the episodes. Grandpa had like a moment where he thought he might be gay or something. Indie Phantom. Oh God, Clooney. Good luck and good night to that fool. Yeah, it's like, how many times are you going to do this? Now he's going to try to take Broadway, I guess. Ben Stiller on expanding the Stiller and Mara from his parents' life to his own as a highly personal documentary. It premieres at New York Film Festival. Indie Phantom. I remember watching The Simpsons in bars back in the day. Laughed my ass off. Donald Trump wants the FCC to look into the license of NBC and rant over Al Sharpton's MSNBC show. This is all bluster because, again, these corporate guys, and Trump knows them better than anybody else, when they hear stuff like this, they get nervous and they just start doing stuff in a panic. When somebody with real juice, says, we might look into your company, holy F, they go bananas. So they might just turn down the heat. Indie Phantom. Grandpa gay? Oh no. Stiller, another woke fooltard. Yeah, it's a shame. It's like every one of them just says woke stuff. I think a lot of it is just to say it. But it's the same sort of thing I was talking about with women earlier about their image. Actors are like that. So, like the men are kind of last to get pulled in, but the women are totally in it. But actors, in terms of a profession, they're going to go right into that because they're constantly worried about their image. So I can see a lot of male actors just going, oh, I have to say that? All right, I'll say something like that. Van Jones apologizes for calling dead Gaza baby videos a disinformation campaign, flat out insensitive. Oh, that's what he said? Well, that's not... some of it could be, and some of it has been exposed, apparently, as propaganda. People lay down and the Gazans take pictures of it, but they're not really dead, but they're counted as dead. But then again, some of that information is from the Israelis, so you can't really tell what's real coming out of the fog of war. Donald Trump sending California National Guard troops to Oregon and breathtaking abuse of law and power, Gavin Newsom says. He is such a liar. I hope he's cooked himself well enough that he'll never be president. James Lindsay calls him the American Stalin if he ever gets in. And I have no doubt that he would be. He is nuts. He went to one time, you remember that time when Xi Jinping came to California and he came to San Francisco and Newsom cleaned up the city. That was the only time he cared about the city, is when the communist leader of China had come for a visit. But Newsom also went and visited him. Now, he's the governor of California. I forget what he was then. He might have been the mayor then. But I don't know if the Chinese got film of him doing something or what. But he loves the Chinese communists. Like, loves them, I think. I kind of don't know why, because he seems like a complete and utter psychopath. His other apology about the French Laundry was the worst one, too. That's also a non-apology. He doesn't look sorry at all. Why he's apologizing? Anybody who would vote for him doesn't know who he is. Is the only thing I can conclude. He looks like American Psycho. Mark Sanchez arrest leaves Fox Sports still trying to wrap our heads around stabbing incident as he faces 3 misdemeanors. As Friday's stabbing incident involving NFL alum Mark Sanchez slowly comes into focus, the team at Fox Sports seems to be just as bewildered as the rest of us. Over the weekend, the network addressed the incident on several occasions. Holy crap, what the hell happened? He was arrested on 3 misdemeanor counts following an altercation in which he was stabbed and another unidentified man suffered lacerations. Oh wait, I did maybe hear about this. Why did they arrest him, but he got stabbed? He must have started it then? Weird. And it was in Indianapolis. JC, he was the gov. Oh, okay. Newsom was the governor at that time. And that was a weird visit too. He was like playing with Xi Jinping's kids. And it was weird, man. I think he likes the Chinese communists. I think he would love to be the head of a communist party in the United States. Like, I think Lindsay is absolutely right. I think he would be, if he could, an American Stalin. He's the only politician that kind of scares me a little. Yeah, this is downtown Indianapolis. That place, I don't know, when I went there, it was super new and super safe, but... Oh, they were all drunk, it looks like. JC, it wasn't his kids, it was just some random school kids they brought in for the photo op. Well, that makes it even weirder. I thought it was his kids. That's very strange to me. Tom Holland's dad clears up Spider-Man injury reports. Haley Stanfield reacts to Marvel's Champions rumors, talks Avengers, Spider-Verse, and Josh Allen. Don't care. Have no interest in seeing that. Here's the article on, see, this is the censorship. There's the gun, and there's the gun gone. Demon Slayer beating Superman at the box office? Not really. Peacemaker's ratings tank, proving James Gunn's Superman doesn't matter. Well, maybe Peacemaker doesn't matter, but it sounds like the show is just going off on a tangent that's both political, stupid, and kind of offensive, if you ask me. AEW teams up with DC Comics for crossover event. So what is this? Wrestlers and the superheroes? Oh, this is the first I heard of this. I don't even know these wrestlers. JEC, why Photoshop it out? Why not just use a different promotional photo that doesn't have a gun? The Kraken is here. Good evening. Good evening, the Kraken. Should I start these later? Oh, here it is. James Gunn's DCU mocks Jesus Christ and glorifies bad guys from Germany world. So, here's some of the highlights. James Gunn is at us again. In the latest episode of Peacemaker Season 2, Gunn not only continues with his Bad Guys from Germany Earth storyline, but he also takes aim at Jesus Christ mocking religion and tying it directly to the Bad Guys from Germany. JC, looks like Hangman Page and John Moxley. I don't know those guys. The episode follows Danielle Brooks Liotta as she escapes a mob of white pursuers with the help of Nuhut Lee's judo master, both LGBTQ plus characters. Oh boy. They hide out in a house where two discuss what it means to live in an alternate Bad Guys from Germany controlled universe revealed in the previous episode. So here it is. You don't want to be a minority here, gay or Buddhist or anything I am. Or anything I am, really. Jesus H. Him they love. Oh, okay. Jesus they love, in other words. It's obvious Gunn's not-so-subtle swipe at Christianity framed as something adored by bad guys from Germany. I mean, just the whole thing feels... bleh. I mean, if you're going to do it, have some fun with it. Indie Phantom, James Gunn needs to go away and far. Here's the Fortnite dance. Pro cops killing, downplaying bad guys from Germany world. Yeah, and this doesn't even count the electrocution scene that apparently just happened in the newer episode. Indie Phantom, can we cancel his ass again? My advice has always been, don't watch the shows. Starve the beast. Clint Miller, the Austrian painter, was new agey. That is true. The Wrap. Let's see. Washington Post executive editor Matt Murray seeing zero meddling from Jeff Bezos in newsroom overhaul. They hired some acceptable conservatives, apparently. Rob Reiner predicts 1 year before democracy completely leaves America, military at midterm polling booths. Yeah, that seems like a realistic thing. Yeah, I'm sure that's going to happen. Indie Phantom, remember that Kimmel was kind of canceled a couple of years ago, took a vacay, and then returned. Yeah, because that makes it okay. See, everybody forgets because the news cycle just grinds through. It's like what they did with Whoopi Goldberg. Remember what Whoopi said her opinions about the bad guys from Germany and certain people that they harassed? Yeah, it was a very interesting comments. Normally those comments end your career. Oh, but Whoopi Goldberg got a free pass and a 2-week vacation. So it's all okay. Jimmy got a little vacation too. And then when he came back, nobody really complained too much. So they were like, okay. Indie Phantom, Rob Reiner, LOL. Trump torches politically correct Fox News for Peter Doocy interview with Democrat. Fix it now. Mark Sanchez arrested for battery, public intoxication after Indianapolis stabbing incident. Indie Phantom, dude loves to offer his hot take garbage. He really does. That Park Place. Nearly 1/10 of Magic Kingdom is behind construction walls, and Disney is still raising prices. Imagine you booked a vacation at Disney World with your family like a year ago, and then you get there, and 1 in 10 places are down for construction. Now, I know there are a lot of places in the Magic Kingdom, but that's ridiculous. They're doing too much, in my view. Or they're desperate. They're like desperate to get something out that'll bring people back to the park, maybe? I don't know. I think they finished one thing, which was like the train station. Something like nobody cares about. Like I guess it was the monorail. It looked nice, but I don't think anybody cares about it. Epcot. Testing changes to Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind pre-show procedures to give advantage to paid Lightning Lane guests. All right. I don't know what that means. I guess it's a new ride. Baxo, the Sumatran tiger turns 1 at Disney's Animal Kingdom with special party. Okay, so at least they got that going on. Disney favorability plummets amongst both Democrats and Republicans after Kimmel fiasco, study finds. Indy Phantom, take your family anywhere but Disney. Plus the park is a joke now. Yeah, they got rid of all their vintage rides, which I think was a huge mistake. That was one of the reasons to go. It's like, oh, they have the old rides. You could guarantee that would be family friendly. Now, I don't know. Is this new ride going to be woke? The Guardians of the Galaxy asking everybody their pronouns? I don't know. Did you see the AI Stan Lee? Was at, I think it was LA Comic Con, and it was answering questions and just talking for itself, and it answered one of the questions wrong. Something that Stan had answered when he was live, it answered the opposite. Something about the X-Men being a metaphor for civil rights. Indy Phantom, Lightning Lane is what you need to pay, not what to wait 3 hours for a 4-minute ride. I don't know. I'll never go to it again. I can't think of a circumstances where I'd end up back at Disney World. When I was a kid, it was kind of fun. You know, my family went there. We had a really fun family time at Disney World, actually. It wasn't that crowded back then. They had little one-man boats. They were fun. And they had the biggest arcade I had ever seen. And that was fun, because there were still arcades back then. Indy Phantom, they literally replaced the most popular ride they had. I need to see that Stan Lee clip. Yeah, I forget which site it was on. I want to say Bounding into Comics or Cosmic Book News, but they had the clip, and it was a little disconcerting. All right, let's see what's going on with Breitbart. This is the guy, Jay Jones, who basically said he fantasized about murdering his political opponent. I don't know why this guy thought that would be a good idea. He should not be elected, obviously. It should, yeah. Newsom to sue Trump over California guard protecting ICE in Oregon. Why is California suing the federal government over another state? That shouldn't be allowed. They should immediately stop that. That should just be like, no, you can't do that. Oregon should have to sue on behalf of Oregon if it wants to. JC, I mean, Stan had his canned answers for questions he repeated a million times. You probably could program an AI Stan Lee. Yeah, but again, AI, you know, it goes off script. Indy Phantom, arcades were my S back in the day. I love them. I miss them. Went to Atlantic City and the boardwalk had the most amazing arcades like everywhere. Yeah. Yeah, and you weren't going to lose money playing a video game. They still have like a handful, but they're not the same. Some of the boardwalk and Wildwood still has arcade games, but they're empty. It's skee ball and a handful of arcade games. Very little pinball. Once in a while you find pinball. I'll tell you a great place to go if you ever come down this way. Well, not down near me, but in Asbury Park, they have the Pinball Museum. And you can go there and play the games. And it's great. My brother went with my nephews, and he said it was a blast. You could just play pinball for as long as you want, basically. I think there's a fee, but it was very reasonable. Barbra Streisand, American Deep Trouble Under Trump's Regime. I'm an old lady and I know things. Statue of fascist Pope John Paul II defaced by pro-Hamas protesters. What the hell, man? Why are you digging up Pope John? Man was struck by lightning twice and survived. I learned that in the Marvel Comics Pope John Paul II comic book. Clint Miller, my girlfriend loves the Pinball Museum. Yeah, I hear it's amazing. What the hell? Members of a pro-Palestinian protest in Rome reportedly defaced a statue honoring the late Pope John Paul II with graffiti that described him as a fascist. Oh my goodness. Mussolini must be rolling over in his grave. That's a joke. It's a joke. No, that's terrible. Well, the shocking statistic I heard coming out of Italy was more than 50% of the population are atheists now. That like blew me away. I was like, are you kidding? In Italy? I thought everybody was Catholic there, just about, but apparently not. Although with all the immigrants, maybe that's gone the other way. Oh, this was something. Build-A-Bear worker accused of refusing to name a teen stuffed toy Charlie Kirk. Imagine being so petty about your politics that you refuse to name a Build-A-Bear Charlie Kirk for a child who just wants a teddy bear. You have to insert your own politics in it, where you work at your probably minimum wage job stuffing teddy bears for kids. It's unreal. Oh, shoot. Hold on. There we go. All right, I want to go to entertainment. Oh, here it is. Superman director James Gunn Peacemaker plot depicts a racist America with Jesus-loving bad guys from Germany. Clint Miller, the thing about calling a lefty a communist is he sees it as a compliment, not a pejorative. Well, depends on the age, but yeah. You know, back in the day, I remember in the 80s, they used to compare Democrats to communists, and I thought, oh, that's a bit much. Now it's like, yeah. Except for, they're more the exception than the rule, the non-communist Democrats. New eras. Taylor Swift leaves childless cat lady life behind for family and kids with Travis Kelce on the Life of a Showgirl. Okay. Charlemagne the God. Comedian Andrew Schultz praised Pete Hegseth's crackdown on fat admirals and generals. Okay. Good for them. Oh, Diddy dropped this week. Diddy's lawyer appealed his sentence as convicted music mogul faces years behind bar. So he got 50 months, which is 4 years and 2 months. He gets time served. He's already been in jail for a year. He gets a year off. So 3 years and 2 months. That's not too bad. I thought he was going away forever. But the big problem for him is now he's been convicted of something. The lawsuits, I think, get a lot easier and probably a lot more numerous, would be my guess. Oh, here's Bill Burr dismisses backlash over performance in Saudi Arabia. Hey, the Royals love the show. Yeah, the Royals, they love it. Meanwhile, Shane Gillis actually came out looking good in this whole incident because he didn't go. He said, this is Shane Gillis, I took a principled stand. You don't 9/11 your friends. That's a good stand and a good joke. Burr, however, feels differently, asserting that the people of Saudi Arabia should not be equated with the government. And this is Bill Burr. It was great to experience that part of the world and be a part of the first comedy festival over there in Saudi Arabia, he said on his Monday morning podcast. The Royals loved the show. Everyone was happy. The people that were doing the festival were thrilled. You think everybody's going to be screaming death to America and they're going to have like an effing machetes and want to chop off my head off, Burr added, because this is what I've been fed about that part of the world. Oh boy, that sounds like propaganda for the Saudi regime, doesn't it? Indie Phantom, I dismiss Bill Burr. What kind of jokes do you tell to Saudis? Yeah, really. Dave Chappelle made a joke. It's easier to talk in Saudi Arabia than the USA after Charlie Kirk's assassination. It's edgy. I'll give him that. I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see what Dave says about the Saudis when he gets back. If he doesn't make any jokes about them at all, yeah, I would say that's a sellout. If he doesn't have one story about being in Saudi Arabia, you know him. He turns anything into comedy. Actor Seth Green forced to admit that punishing thought crime has been a basic liberal dogma for decades. Why the hell are you even talking about Seth Green? Who's talking about Seth Green now? Where'd you dig him up? Seth Green? OpenAI's video generation app, Sora 2, is Hollywood's most terrifying nightmare. Here's everything we know. All right, let's end on this, since this was a theme tonight. There's an AI thing. OpenAI's AI-generated video maker called Sora 2 has launched, and it is throwing Hollywood and the entertainment industry into full-blown panic. Text-to-video generation. All right, let's take a look at it. JC. J jokes? Dave stood up on principle and turned down $40 million for the Chappelle show. Never again. All right, so here's Pokemon in a army movie. Okay. That looked a little better. Seth Green, LOL, what the F? Oh, here's one with Star Wars with Mario. See, it's beginning. Hold on, I can't have the sound on that one. So, there you go. All right, that's a cartoon, though. That's slightly easier to do. Here's Pikachu, and there's a lot of Pikachu stuff in this. JC, I feel like it's pulling from that Detective Pikachu movie. All right. I don't know who's that guy. Oh, I guess Pikachu is Darth Maul. I don't recognize that guy. I can't play that one because it has music underneath it. So that's it. That's the only ones they have here. So it's called Sora 2. It's not for open use by just anyone. It's currently being distributed on an invite-only basis, with the company deciding who will be allowed to access it. It also is only being offered in Canada and the US on top of that. So it's only available for use by ChatGPT account holders. JC, that's the guy who runs OpenAI. Oh, okay. Hollywood is very worried. Left-wing online magazine Slate, for instance, published a piece where with doom and gloom entitled AI is ready to crush Hollywood as we've known it. Good. Indie Phantom, Hollywood sits around worrying about S when they could just turn things around by making entertainment great again. Yeah, really. The article predicts that these AI programs will make the studios irrelevant and give every last human being on Earth the capability to create their own movies. That, I think, is true. Because I think you could get to the point where, and it would be a lot of work, but for me, what I would do for the Pineys is I would want myself in as Hemingway, right? So obviously I can get video of myself, pictures, so I can put that in the computer and then tell the computer, okay, this is the character, right? So you would want the software to sort of take that and boom, make me a character. Now it's got a sample of me and my voice, so all I have to do is get the AI to make the character do what I want and keep its look relatively consistent, right? So once I got that character, I could then build characters using other pictures or people I know, and basically build the Pineys cast, and then have them do stuff. That's where it's got to get to. We're not quite there yet, but I'm getting there. And then ideally, once I have all the characters built, what I should be able to do is just say, here, computer, here's the whole novel of the Pineys, and here's all that's all the dialogue, and it has descriptions of the scenes and the other stuff that happens, and then, you know, the AI would do most of it, and then I could go through and just edit it. Indie Phantom, yeah, haven't subbed to any AI yet. JC, I think to get to the best results, you'll need to film the performances and use the AI to punch it up visual quality and effects. Sure. Clint Miller, dead Christie, hot Christie. Yes. We'll have to have both of them. And in the newest book, you will get to see a scene that takes place in 1989 with Christie and Hem. I'll give you a little preview. And so that's fun. Indie Phantom, I think the self-making movies will really mean won't have shared experiences. I pictured dude. I didn't quite get that got butchered in the translation somehow. I think the self-making movies will really mean we won't have shared experiences. I pictured dude. Indie Phantom, dudes asking their girlfriends over to see them star in an action flicks will get old fast. Yes. Yes, but I think people like me, I could really do a lot with it. I mean, if I can make the Pineys in it. If I can take one of the books and translate it, it could work really, really well for me. Indie Phantom will be funny for a while, though. Yes. If I can make the Pineys and just put it out there, even if I just do the first book and say, here's the first book of the Pineys, I mean, it'll be a great for the book, and it'll be on my channel, so hopefully I'll be making some money, you know, at least on the views, I guess. I don't know. Eventually, if something got popular enough, you could see a platform saying, okay, well, we want to maybe option the rights, and you take it off of YouTube and then show it on our platform or whatever. But the rights are going to be the hardest part, because the tools, you're going to need to license in some way that you can own the rights of the product. But I don't know if that's going to work. So it's getting there. Seems to me. All right. So that's about it. Oh, it's 10 o'clock. It's 10:30. I gotta wrap this. I gotta get something to drink. What have we learned today? Well, we learned AI may be destroying Hollywood at a rate. We're not quite sure of the rate. I'm going to say within 3 years. 3 years, you're going to have the ability to make a movie on one of these platforms. It won't be great, but I think in 3 years it'll be, we'll be in that AI slop movie mode at least. Indie Phantom, Spinal Tap 2 as AI might have worked, or even as a cartoon where they didn't look like fossils. Yes, that would have been great. Yeah, you could have even taken them through the years from 1984 to the modern day and then shown them at the end, right? You could have followed their careers and then ended with a live action scene, maybe. Yeah. Storebang, I hope so. I have a stack of screenplays that will never be produced, but I made a whole album of songs I wrote over the years with Suno. Neat. Yeah, I think you can. That's right. I got screenplays too. I forgot about those. Indie Phantom, we learned that Rob Reiner is still a meathead. Absolutely. Yeah, the cool thing will be, I think, is I'll be able to make movies, right? And if I get my friends to be in them, let's say, then when I make a second movie with different characters, I could still put them in it, but as different characters. That'll be fun. What else did we learn? Gavin Newsom is a scary individual that should not be allowed near any of the levers of power. We learned that James Gunn is probably ruining the DCU. I'm done with him. Put him on the list of other people I'm just done with. Amazon may or may not ruin James Bond. It doesn't look great. They did pull back on the erasing the gun thing, though. Indie Phantom, I will go back to the first to hear the box office one battle. Yeah, that landed second. That's actually doing okay. It only dropped 49%, but it didn't start strong. I mean, it started at 22 million. Now it's at 11 million. It cost too much money. It cost, I think, 180, 150. We learned that Bill Burr is done. Yes, we have. He is very done. Dave Chappelle might be close to being done. I kind of don't think... Dave strikes me as the kind of guy who doesn't care. He really just wants to make a lot of money for his family, maybe. I don't know. But then again, like you said, he did turn down the Netflix or whatever the offer was. Yeah, I don't know. There's something sinister about that offer, too, that I don't quite understand. There had to have been something else in that offer, I think, other than just money, that made him turn it down. I really think some of these offers have in the contract something where the person signing up for it is going to have to do stuff that they know they don't want to do. And maybe that's the line that Dave wouldn't cross. Like maybe commercials and other potentially humiliating things, or that he was just going to sign on for a bunch of stuff he didn't know what it was until it was being developed, you know? Indie Phantom, Chappelle seems semi-retired. That too. So he may just be going out like, oh, I'm going to make a bunch of money and then... Clint Miller, we learned that Tony drinks seltzer water when he runs out of iced tea. I do sometimes. It's ShopRite brand seltzer. And ShopRite here is our regional chain. Right is spelled R-I-T-E. ShopRite. And they have a brand of seltzer. And it's really good. And there's no artificial flavorings in it. And it's only, when it's on sale, 60 cents a bottle usually. So they have usually I think 5 for $3 deal on it. And they don't have a lot of flavors though. For a short window, they experimented with the flavors, and they had blueberry one time, and it was delicious. They've never had it again. The other seltzer I love, and if you ever get a chance to drink this, I highly recommend. It's called Waterloo. Let me tell you, the Waterloo seltzer is the best seltzer I've ever had. It tastes amazing. It tastes like you're drinking a flavored soda, but there's no... there's nothing artificial in it, no sugar. And they had blueberry as well, and that was the best blueberry seltzer I ever had. And every time I go to the store, I check the aisle to see if it's there, and it hasn't been there. Blueberries are very seasonal. They're only around for about 2 weeks in the summer, at their peak. So I don't know what happened. Maybe there was a blueberry shortage the last couple of years. Thanks, Joe Biden. And I haven't seen blueberry flavored anything in a while, and it's really pissing me off. Thankfully, though, I live near Hamilton, New Jersey, blueberry capital of the world. So I had a good summer and stuffed my face full of blueberries. But now they're all gone, and I have to wait until next year. This is the longest possible time between the time I had blueberries and the time I will get blueberries. And I'm really pissed off about it. Not really, but kind of. This time of year, no blueberries. Except, the crap ones in the store that come from either Chile or Michigan. Meh. They don't taste the same. Don't taste the same. All right, what's coming up for me in the week? All right, this is my big week. October is going to be crazy, as always. I got to go to my list of events. Where the hell is it? There it is. Okay. So, the 7th, which is Tuesday, I'll be at the Woodbury Library in Woodbury, New Jersey at 6 p.m. for How to Hunt the Jersey Devil. Indie Phantom, I love blueberry desserts. I know, they're the best. I went to the Iron Chef's restaurant in Philadelphia once, and it was amazing. But one of the things he had that night for dessert was homemade blueberry ice cream, and it was phenomenal. So Woodbury Library at 6 p.m. How to Hunt the Jersey Devil on Tuesday. Wednesday, I'm doing Lunch and Learn 1-hour Zoom call. So you guys can tune in for this one if you want. The link is to the actual Zoom call. It's for the Jacques Cousteau National Estuarine Research Reserve at Rutgers University and Folklife Coordinator, Jersey Shore Folklife Center. I don't know. It's run by the state, so that's probably why it's got a crazy name. So that's at 12:30 on Wednesday, the Zoom call. Then on Thursday, I'll be at the Greenbrier Woodlands in Toms River. That's an old folks place, so you can't come to that one unless you kind of know someone. Let's see, what do I got now? Oh, yeah. So October 11th, I'll be at the Halloween Hullabaloo in Lakewood Historical Museum in Lakewood from 10 to 4. That's on Saturday. Indie Phantom, get ready for my review of Spinal Crap 2. I will. Still waiting for Tony to review Megalopus. Damn it. Got to stop mentioning it. October 12th, I'll be at Booze and Brews at the 13th Child Brewery. I've been waiting to get back to them for a while because, as you probably may or may not remember, I set book 18 in Williamstown, New Jersey, and the 13th Child Brewery is mentioned in it. So that's going to be a big day. Hopefully, I should have book 18, still copies of it by then. And then starts the week after, I go straight through to the 19th. I won't go through all of them. Great pick, Tony, says Indie Phantom. Yeah, that's my craziest Piney pick with my hair sticking out. My mother goes to this page all the time to see where I'm at. And she always says the same thing. When are you going to change that picture? And I'm like, never, because it's hilarious. Indie Phantom, no heckling on Zoom calls. I don't think there's heckling on Zoom calls. Yeah, don't do that to me. That would be no bueno. And yeah, so this begins, actually starting Saturday, I'll be going straight through to the 19th. And I hope I don't run out of books. So, wish me luck. In fact, I got to order some more books now. Thanks for tuning in tonight. On your way out, please give me an upvote if you think of it. And check out my other videos as always. Next week, I will be doing... I'll be at Williamstown next Sunday. So I will probably be... Let's see, when is that? What's the time on that? It's from 3 to 7. So I'm going to have to push back to 8 at least in Williamstown. So maybe I might push back to 9. So heads up on that. So late Hollywoke hot take. God, I couldn't think of it. A little fried. Late Hollywood hot take next week. So I hope to see you there. We will see you in the next one.